House Republicans say Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas refuses to enforce immigration laws, and the Homeland Security Committee is scheduled to vote on 2 articles of impeachment against Mayorkas. But Democrats are calling the proceedings a sham that could set a chilling precedent for other civil servants. Meanwhile, the Senate has been working with the Homeland Security Secretary on a bipartisan border security package that could be the most consequential bipartisan immigration proposal in a decade, or it could collapse in political failure. Donna Warder, Washington.
Senator Rick Scott says Republicans seeking a border compromise with the Democrats are running a fool's errand. First, he says it's clear that President Biden and the Democrats want a wide-open border.
And number 2 is my understanding is we took off the table. One thing that I think is the most important thing is do something that makes Biden enforce the law. He's lawless.
The senator from Florida speaking with the Salem radio network's Hugh Hewitt. Israel says 3 Palestinian terrorists its forces killed today have been using a West Bank hospital as a hideout. The White House says the U.S. is encouraged by recent talks aimed at winning the release of the hostages being held by Hamas in Gaza.
Those discussions are ongoing. We believe they have been constructive and are moving in a good direction. Don't want to sound sanguine here. There's a lot of work left to be done. We don't have an imminent deal to speak to.
John Kirby, speaking for the White House, Israel has described the talks as constructive, adding that they will continue in the weeks to come. On Wall Street, ahead of this morning's opening bell, Dow futures are down 84 points. The NASDAQ futures off 45. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Terrorist attacks against Israel, escalating threats of a third world war, natural disasters, and civil unrest are causing people to wonder, are we living in the end times?
In his new book, Are We Living in the End Times?, trusted pastor and best-selling author Dr. Robert Jeffress provides solid biblical answers to 7 key questions, including, what role does Israel play in the end times? What 5 headlines will signal we are in the end times? And how can you prepare for the end times? Are We Living in the End Times by Dr. Robert Jeffress is available right now at ptv.org and wherever fine books are sold.
Jesus said, no one knows the hour or day of his return, which is why we should be ready at all times. Jesus is coming back to earth one day. Are you ready? Get your copy of my new book, Are We Living in the End Times?, by going to ptv.org or wherever fine books are sold.
Saudi Arabia's state-owned oil company says it will not be hiking its daily output by 1 million barrels after the Saudi Energy Ministry blocked the proposed increase.
The firm said it would maintain its maximum output at 12 million barrels a day. It did not give a reason for the ministry's decision. However, crude oil prices globally have fallen over recent months as demand has been soft. Aramco reported earning $161 billion last year, claiming the highest ever recorded annual profit by a publicly listed company, and drawing immediate criticism from activists worried about climate change.
Correspondent Jeremy House. Europe's economy failed to expand at the end of 2023. The stagnation has now lasted for more than a year amid higher energy prices, costlier credit, and a downturn in the former powerhouse Germany. The EU Statistics Agency says zero growth for October to December of last year follows 0.1% contraction in the 3 months before that. The Justice Department says that Attorney General Garland will be going under the knife soon.
The Attorney General will undergo back surgery this weekend and delegate his duties to the Deputy Attorney General during the procedure. The advisory comes as Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin returns to work at the Pentagon following a hospitalization related to prostate cancer that was criticized for being kept secret for days. Garland, who is 71, will be under general anesthesia during the back procedure on Saturday. It's expected to last about 90 minutes and is being called minimally invasive. Garland is expected to return home this same day. Norman Hall, Washington.
Authorities in California say 5 suspects have been arrested in the murders of 6 men. Their bodies were found last week in Southern California's Mojave Desert. Police in San Bernardino County say an apparent disagreement over drugs, in this case marijuana, led to the dispute that ended with the deadly shootings. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, Whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The tablet said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to it.
Yes, sir.
Hope your Tuesday's going just fine.
Swimmingly.
Yes.
I'm going to bring back the term swimmingly.
Throw it in everyone.
Yeah, it's nice.
I'm a swimmingly guy. Well, happy Tuesday, everybody.
Yes.
Welcome to it.
Sun's up, guns up.
Yeah. Warm, sort of.
Yeah, it's gonna get there.
For the end of January, warm.
Yeah, this has been a weird winter. It was like heavy for like a week and a half.
Yeah.
And then it's basically just been ever since.
But we still haven't seen any snow.
That's true.
No snow.
That is true. In fact, I've been enjoying lots of pictures from Montana over the past week or so, as my friend and her husband are in Montana for reasons. But lots of snow up there. Family, and well, not anymore, sadly. But they actually got a chance to go to Yellowstone.
Okay.
Kind of traipse off, off the beaten path a little bit and head over to Yellowstone, and just some really pretty pictures.
The Yogi and Boo Boo. That's
snow-covered trees and paths, and
yeah, Montana's got snow pretty much all winter. I'm thinking probably November time frame till about March. They got snow all the time.
Yeah, basically, Montana is like the quintessential, like when you look at South Park, like how it's always just there's snow on the ground.
Right.
That's sort of Montana.
Yeah, it's kind of north.
Yeah. Oh, it's very north.
I mean, just in general, like New York. I know, like my grandparents and dad and all of them, they grew up in upstate New York, and not all winter, but a good hunk of winter. There's usually snow on the ground. So.
Well, the majority. I read a statistic that like 80% of the people that live in Canada live below the actual continental divide, or the divide.
Oh, I got you. Well, yeah, because the whole northern part of Canada is tundra. Yeah, so that's all.
So most of the people who live in Canada actually live in like the very, very, very south part of it.
Yeah, it's the border, and
I think I read somewhere that like even like Michigan is more north than most Canadians.
Yeah, no, probably.
Or parts of Michigan are more north than a lot of Canadians.
Yeah, you'd have to look at like I don't know. I'd have to look at a map more like Toronto and Montreal line up longitudinally with that all their populations in those cities, and you go north and it's Inuits and tundra, so there's not much up there.
A lot of fish-eye eaters.
You live in places like the Northwest Territory.
See, I read a book when I was a kid called Dog Song.
Okay.
It was required reading when I was a kid. This book has like cemented in my head what an Inuit or an Eskimo is.
Is this like an Iditarod thing, or?
No, it was a story about a I don't remember much from the story, honestly.
Okay.
The one thing I do remember was there was a character in this book named Ugruk.
Okay.
And his whole thing was he ate fish eyes. Like he loved fish eyes.
Okay.
And the kid in the book would like bring him fish eyes because it was like his favorite thing in the world. He was a blind guy, and he loved eating fish, which I always thought was kind of ironic.
A little bit.
They're like eye vitamins.
Didn't see that one.
Vitamin I. But yeah, that was the one thing I've always. So whenever I say like the Inuit people are Eskimo, bunch of fish-eye eaters. That's the only reference I have
from the story.
Draw from a fictional story from when I was a child.
Which may or may not be dog sledders.
If there's anybody out there that had to read that book also as a kid, let me know, because I'm really curious about what I forgot.
Yeah, I'm sure it's online.
I'm not going to go back and reread it.
Maybe it's been a banned book.
I already served my nickel. You think I'm going to go back into it?
Can't be that big of a book. I mean,
it was a little small. I did manage to read the 5th Harry Potter book. I'm sure I could power through Dog Song.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Well, anything 4 on and after is pretty big in the Harry Potter world.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Order of the Phoenix was by far the biggest book.
Was it?
Oh, yeah. By like 200 and something pages.
Well, book 4 was the first like big one.
That was Goblet of Fire.
Yes. That was like, but I remember of the thickness variables of the books, 4 was the one you're like, whoa, that one's.
Yeah. It's actually kind of cool if you look at them like on a shelf, because it goes like, meh, ooh, oh, ooh, oh, no. And then just kind of like back to 1.
Yeah. And of course, I can do my under glass pushing up too.
Mm-hmm.
The last book has 2 movies.
Which was wholly unnecessary. If you're going to split one book into 2 movies, it should have been Order of the Phoenix.
Yeah.
Because that book was thick.
Well, and if I remember correctly, it's been a year or 7 since I've seen some of these movies.
Mm-hmm.
But like the movies followed the books very closely until movie 4.
Yeah.
And that's when it started venturing away.
Well,
and I think that's because there was just too much content in the books to get all in the movie.
Goblet of Fire was pretty accurate. Pretty accurate to the book. But Order of the Phoenix, it was just, you had to glaze over so much. There was a whole like subplot about Harry Potter's Harry learning his family tree.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm pretty sure, see, this is where I really nerd out. I'm pretty sure Order of the Phoenix is where he discovered his Animagi.
That's when he starts staying in Sirius's house.
Yeah.
So that's when he's learned all the stuff.
That's where he discovered his. Yeah. Oh gosh, see, I can't think of the word, so I'm not really nerding out too much. But
lineage.
No, the animal that you cast.
Your spirit animal, or whatever they call it. Your Patronus.
Patronus. Thank you. It's where he learned his Patronus, which was the buck, which was his dad. Which there's a whole backstory to that, and they sort of touch on it in the movie. But they really, really get into it in the book. Like you fully understand the connection between the buck and Harry's Harry's dad.
Right. Well, does the movie get into the Snape's Patronus?
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't remember the movie did.
I
know
the movie
book very
does
much
again. It touches on it, but the book very much does.
Yeah. I was like trying to think, because there's a whole big thing about is this 50-year-old man talking about Harry Potter, but Snape's Patronus was because he was in love with Harry's mom.
It's funny.
Spoiler.
Yeah, right. There's certain like relationships that the only thing I've taken from them was, well, they got me hooked on a really good book series.
Yeah.
This one girlfriend I had in college, she let me read all the Harry Potter books, and I was hooked.
Yeah. I was married to a teacher.
We broke up shortly after book 7.
Yeah. My wife started reading them at 4, and she was like, hey, what's with all these second graders?
She started at 4?
Well, that's when she was like, maybe I should start reading these. And she started reading 4, and she's like, eh. And then she went back and got the first one. And then she was like, these are actually good. You should read them. I'm like, nah. Come on, you should read them. Finally, shut up. All right, give me the book. I'll read it.
It's an easy read. Big,
and I'm
big
like,
font.
I like it. Give me the next one. The next thing you know, I'm the one getting the last one before she's ready for it and all that stuff. But yeah, she got me hooked. But it didn't start for me to reading them until book 4 actually came out. So.
There you go, kids. Get lost in a book.
There you go. I wish, since the iPad and stuff, I read a lot less.
Yeah, it's kind of depressing.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to read a whole lot.
Yeah.
Now it's tough for me to turn a page. That's why I'm a fan of today's sponsor, Audible. No, just because I would rather be read to. It's easier for me to digest it and process it when I hear it, because I'm an Audible learner.
Yeah, when I read, I like to be alone by myself, and just hence the reason I do a lot of my
with everybody else dead.
Hence the reason I did a lot of my reading on the John, because it's my quiet, uninterrupted, just me there in my book.
By the way, I read a story yesterday, and I'm not going to get into the real like meat of it. Pardon the pun, but basically the whole story was should you flush your toilet with the lid up or down? And basically the result was it kind of almost doesn't matter either way because stuff's going to spread. But the one takeaway from this story was the head of this organization urged people to stop taking their phones with them into the bathroom. There's so many particles in your bathroom, and you're getting them all over your phone. If you do take your phone in there, grab a wet wipe or an alcohol swab or something. Clean it off. Because it's nasty.
That's literally 102% of Americans do.
Oh, I know. I was like, how am I supposed to go to the bathroom if I don't have Fruit Ninja?
And the people that say they don't are lying.
Yep.
They're lying. Mm-hmm. They're trying to be like, oh, I don't never do. I just in there. No, you're lying. Okay, maybe you don't do it on the regular, but you do it sometimes.
This is a weird thing to say, but one of my favorite features of my house is the fact that my shower, my towel rack is such so that it will hold my cell phone perfectly, aim the speaker at the shower so I can listen to a podcast while I shower.
Nice.
It's a great feature.
My wife bought Bluetooth speakers.
Shut up.
And that's what we do.
All right, you know what? Shut up.
They're like $40. And they weren't that expensive.
I know. I had a shower speaker on Temu, but the doggone the suction cup unsuctioned and it broke.
Maybe bump up to Amazon.
Yeah, right.
Something a little nicer.
Hey, I live ghetto. I find a way, all right?
Built in a fancier factory in China. But
this was in Taiwan.
Oh.
Yeah.
There you go.
So you know it's good.
That's right. That means it's good. Here, let me give you the rundown for today's show. We're going to replay interview this in next hour. Miguel Duran with the Southeast New Mexico Veterans Transport Network joined us yesterday. They are in the need of volunteers desperately. They're a great organization, very much grassroots, and they do a lot of service for veterans throughout Southeast New Mexico. So we're going to play that interview for you here in just a bit. We're going to replay our interview with Matt Bristol from Bristol Law Office in the 8 o'clock hour. He always comes in with sage legal advice. And then Lori Schatz and Alethea Hartwell with the Roswell Community Theater will join us in the 9 o'clock hour this weekend. Man in Black. The intimate portrait of Johnny Cash is happening Saturday, February 3rd. A 2 p.m. show and a 6 p.m. show. VIP tickets, general admission still available. Don't waste your time with the general admission. Get the VIP. They're $10 more, and you get so much more bang for $10 more.
You don't want to just be P.
Yes.
Be VIP.
Yes. For $10 to be a VI, not just a P.
Heck yeah.
That's well worth it. And the good news is you're helping the communal theater.
That's right.
Keep paying for that roof that they got newly installed on the communal theater there. So but anyway, they'll join us in the 9 o'clock hour, talk about that show and other things happening at the RCLT.
Speaking of roofs, if you or someone you know can help out the Humane Society,
yes, they
have
need a donation.
A roof coming up very soon, and them things is expensive. If you want a quality roof, one that's built to last, you got to pay for it.
They are not cheap.
No, they are not.
No, that's why you hope for a hailstorm.
Yeah.
So you get insurance
Just get
to
that
pay for
payout.
it. But yes, they are. And I know if you go to roswellhumane.org, you can go and there's a donate now button there directly, or you can come by the shelter there and cut them a check. They'd be very appreciative of that too. It is 7:18. Let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather. Hope you like upper 60s, maybe even a little low 70s, because that's what we got this week.
Oh, yeah.
Drink it in.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We have a long stretch of pretty nice conditions coming up over the next few days. Our next system may bring us a few showers by Friday, but pretty fair in between now and then. Mid-60s on our high today, and we get sunshine. Upper 30s and a few clouds drifting through for the overnight hours. We're looking at upper 60s for the high on Wednesday, low 70s Thursday, and sunny. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 33 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 72% with winds currently out of the north. It's 6 miles per hour. Sunny today, 67 for a high. Winds will be out of the north at around 5 miles per hour. Tonight, partly cloudy, looking at an overnight low of 37 degrees. Southwest winds at around 5 miles per hour. Wednesday, mostly sunny. Once again, 67 for a high tomorrow. West winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, mostly clear, overnight low of 38 degrees. south winds 5 to 10. Thursday, hitting the low 70s. Mostly sunny, 72 for a high. Winds will be out of the southwest, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Friday, they're saying there's a chance, 20% chance of showers after 11 a.m., partly cloudy, and a high of 64 for the day. They do use the term breezy at the end. They don't mention what the winds are, but they say Friday will be breezy. Saturday, sunny, 59 for a high. It's going to be windy. Sunday, sunny, a high of 63 and breezy. So look like the winds will be rolling in out Friday there. A little bit of moisture. We'll see. They were giving us better chances earlier in the week on Friday. Now it's just down to that lonely 20% during the day. So hopefully we'll get a little moisture, but it's starting to dissipate. All right, it is 7:21. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll get you into your Roswell Livestock Report recap. Then we'll play our interview we had with Miguel Duran from the Southeast New Mexico Veterans Transport Network. That's up next. Don't go away.
Good morning, this is Smiley Wooten at the Roswell Livestock Auction. 2,218 head of cattle sold on Monday on a higher market with excellent buyer attendance compared to last week. Stocker calves sold 10 to 20 higher, feeder cattle 5 to 10 higher, packer cows and bulls $4 to $8 higher. 3 to 400 pound steers $342, $392, 3 to 400 pound heifers $315, $356. 4 to 500 pound steers $308, $342, 4 to 500 pound heifers $270, $315, 5 to 600 pound steers $262, $306, 5 to 600 pound heifers $231, $270, 6 700 pound steers $235, $262, 6 to 700 pound heifers $226, $50, $231, 7 to 800 pound steers $230, $235, 7 to 800 pound heifers $210, $226, $50, packer cows $1, $114, canner and cutter cows $85 to $95, packer bulls $120, $133, feeder bulls $95 to $110. The top half the cow calf pair $1,600 to $1,900 per pair. Top half the bred cows $1,400 to $1,800 per head. The market is excellent, so gather some cattle and come and see us. Until then, this is Smiley Wooten, Roswell Livestock Auction.
Foot and ankle problems are often agonizing, but they don't have to be. At Artesia General Hospital, we're passionate about helping every patient return to optimal mobility with confidence and comfort. Our board-certified podiatrists, Dr. Jennifer Chow and Dr. Michael Krupa, provide a full spectrum of services ranging from routine foot care and pain relief to customized treatment plans and leading-edge surgeries. Visit artesiageneral.com/foot care to request your appointment today.
Oasis Computers has been Roswell's trusted source for home and small business computers for over 30 years, and they continue to be your best resource for computer repairs, operating system upgrades, web root managed antivirus, special orders, and more. Oasis Computers is now open from 8 to 1, Monday through Friday to better serve you. Service calls by appointments and after-hour appointments are available too. Stop by Oasis Computers at 1703 North Garden or call or text 575-625-9141 for even faster service.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The ball on top of a flagpole is called a truck. Mess with your friends today by pointing at a flagpole and say, "Hey, check out the truck on top of that flagpole." Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 26 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning with the Southeast New Mexico Veterans Transportation Network, President Miguel Duran back with us. Morning, Miguel. How you doing?
Good morning. How are you?
Doing good. How about yourself?
If it got any better, hell, I'd have to sit on my hands to keep them clapping.
Well, that's good. I hope everyone's doing well right now. But for folks that don't know, the Southeast New Mexico Veterans Transport is a great organization that really does a unique mission that is not available had you got, like, if you guys weren't doing your thing, there'd be a lot of people without this resource to take care of their needs. And what the Veterans Transport does, what they do is it's a network of volunteers, and they drive veterans to their medical appointments that are out of town. So if they live here and they got a VA appointment in Albuquerque or Odessa or Artesia, something like that, then one of our volunteer drivers will load them up in the vans and take them to wherever they got to do, make sure they get to their doctor's appointments and get everything taken care of, and then get them back home safe. And they've been doing it for years, and I'm telling you, there are some veterans in our community that would not be getting the care that they need had it not be for the Veterans Transport Network. So it is a great network, or a great organization.
Thank you much for that.
Give a little history for folks, because you're one of the founders here and kind of one of the guys that are really stemmed why this is in existence.
Well, I'm not really one of the founders. One of the founders started back in, I think, 2008, where one vet needed a ride to Albuquerque. His car was broken. He had a friend that had a van, so he asked his friend, he said, "Can you drive me?" The guy said, "Sure." So that began. The guy spread the word that this guy with a van would drive, and pretty soon
had a lot of appointments.
they started it up. Mainly they were World War II vets, Korean vets at that time, and Vietnam vets. The original name was Southeast New Mexico Vietnam Veterans
So
Transportation.
It kind of started with a twist on the Vietnam vets, and it's kind of grown from there.
People wouldn't see. They would see the Vietnam veterans, so they thought that we only transported veterans from Vietnam.
Vietnam era.
Well, when we took over in 2013 and reincorporated as Southeast New Mexico Veterans Transportation. And I have 22 drivers at this time. 6 are out sick.
I'm about saying you could use 22 more.
Oh, my. We run from Roswell, Artesia, Carlsbad, and we go to places like Albuquerque, El Paso, Lubbock, Midland, Odessa, Big Springs, out to Clovis, and all the way out to Alamogordo and everything in between. Even in Roswell, we transport vets to their medical appointments here in Roswell.
Good deal. Well, and that's just it. We live in a remote part of the country.
We're rural.
Yeah, we're rural, and it's 3 hours to do anything in this community. And and unfortunately, when you get that age where you need to be seeing the doctors a lot and stuff, you spend a lot of time having to travel to Albuquerque, Lubbock, Odessa, and these other places to get the proper care you need.
So. Yes. And we estimate about 60 to 70% of our veterans that we transport would not be able to make it to their appointments.
Yeah, they've probably been with us, quite frankly. And you and I know veterans.
Yeah.
And they can be a stubborn bunch and not always the most receptive of help. So they'll sit and suffer and not say nothing.
That's true.
So it is so good that you guys not only do this, but you will go chase them down and stuff. And when the veteran gets a little stubborn, it's like, hey, I get it, but come on, let us help you. Let's get you taken care of.
We do that. We take you from your house to your medical appointment and back to your house.
Yep.
And we do not charge a penny. If you wish to make a donation, that's fine, but we don't ask.
Well, you have some very generous people that have helped you in the past.
Yes.
The Crumlin Group has been an asset as far as vehicles and some of the maintenance and upkeep. Gas money has always been an area where you guys could definitely use donations. So monetary donations are greatly appreciated because y'all see the price of gas and then what it costs, and these vans run 5 days a week, probably at least. Maybe 6 or 7, depending on when some of their medical appointments and things are.
And the truth is that all veterans pay with their lives. All veterans. Some pay at once, and we honor those. And while others pay in a lifetime, and we honor those. That was a quote from a guy named Jim Stone. He wrote that. I have this in my possession, and I really liked it because it's true.
Yeah.
And a veteran is somebody who will raise his hand and go any place, do anything that the government tells them to.
Yep.
And you will return home, and you get the thanks later when you really need it.
And this is, just from my own personal experiences, and I'm sure you've probably experienced some of this yourself, is for a veteran too, it's not always about, like you said, we do what the government tells you to do, but we do it always because of the person next to us.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's our brother and sister standing next to us that is signed up for the same thing, and we've gone through hell together. And guess what? We're going to continue to go through hell together because we know each other's metal and what we're made up of and what we do. And that's part of the military is you do some of the suckiest things known to humankind sometimes, but you do it and you get through it together because that comradeship, or just, when you're all in the same boat doing the same thing together, there's a strength and a ability to go above and beyond that's sometimes not there.
Yeah.
When you're willing to do it for your fellow soldier,
right.
then you're you tend to get a little bit more brave with the adrenaline. You get a little bit more, all right, let's do this. You know what I mean? And it's hard to understand that unless you've been put in that position.
It's been an uphill struggle for us right now, looking for or trying to find volunteer drivers.
Need them desperately.
My youngest driver is 61 and my oldest is 89.
So you could use some young.
We could use anybody.
We get it. Generally speaking, these are during the day, and a lot of people work and things like that. So that's why retirees are generally more able to volunteer because they've got the time to do that. So
it's absolutely the best job you'll never get paid for.
Well, and here's the thing too is, how many of those folks, your volunteer drivers, are like the social network for some of these veterans? Like some of these individuals are probably a little bit shut in or a little bit isolated from society. And their connection is probably that volunteer driver that hangs with them for 3 hours and chit-chats and checks in on them and finds out how their life's going. And if there's something outside of our normal little transport thing that this veteran can use, these drivers are usually talking to them and trying to make arrangements for that stuff.
Oh, we do that. We really do. We have drivers who are very caring. Well, all of my drivers are caring.
Yeah.
Because they're here for the purpose of allowing the veteran to get the medical attention they need.
Absolutely.
Without that medical attention, like I say, many would not be here today.
Absolutely. They just, because of the resources, aren't available to do it.
Yes.
And here's the thing, too, to kind of lure some of our younger folks that maybe have a time and ability to do some driving here. You've got a valuable treasure trove of experience sitting in that van with you.
Yes.
These are all individuals that have seen a thing or two, that have seen the world, know a little thing about it. And some of their input, some of their mentorship will rub off on you as you make your way to the doctor's appointments and things. Trust me, our seniors they've been there, done that. All the T-shirts, they've got them. They've been there. Tap into that potential for your own personal.
That is true.
Use that. And let's face it, seniors, especially when you get in that point where you're relying on other people to take care of you to do things. Sometimes when you're able to give back, it does so much more to the spirit. So by letting them talk to you and letting some of their wisdom rub off on you, not only is it making you a better person, but it's helping with their own mental and psyche there a little bit.
Some of those veterans, we're the only contact that they have outside.
Absolutely.
They're shut-ins, as you say. Some of them don't want to meet anybody. They just want to do what they have to do. They've been to places and done things that you couldn't imagine.
But you get to chink away at that armor a little bit and get them down to crack a joke every now and then.
Oh,
and
yes.
Next thing you know, you're starting to have a little relationship. But sometimes you just got to peel away a layer or two of that onion first to get there.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
There's some crusty old souls out there.
Well, and let's face it, as well as I, that side of them is what made them good as veterans. You know what I mean? Because let's face it, you do hard things in the military, and you've got to train your brain and put yourself in a certain mindset to be able to handle those. And that comes good with doing the job, but sometimes comes bad with navigating life outside of military and things that people just don't see and do on a daily basis that a veteran would do.
That's so true. Everybody in this nation has a relative or they themselves that have or is serving in the military.
Mm-hmm.
In our era, in the 60s and 70s, they had the draft. And that draft took people from all over and put us all together. I volunteered. I was an RA. In in the service when I joined, we had this sergeant giving us training in Fort Benning, Georgia, jump school, and he would yell out, "Okay, all of you RAs," which is enlisted of your own volition.
Gotcha.
That's an RA.
You signed on the dotted line voluntarily.
A US is involuntary. So he would yell out, "Okay, all you RAs," which means real Americans.
Gotcha.
1 foot, 1 step forward. And all you USs, which means unwanted sons, 1 step to the rear. And we knew where it was going.
You got to love the military. They got an acronym for everything, by the way. We are proud to have served this but you
community.
know what? You know what else too? I would say to that, like just kind of finishing up that story. Towards the end of basic training, though, some of those U.S. we're getting them called RAs. You know what I mean? When they prove to the instructors that maybe they can do this military thing, that's when you start seeing a little bit change in the instructors as they start treating you. I wouldn't say like humans, because that's a bit much, but they do treat you a little bit. They give you a little bit more respect, a little bit more, leeway once they see that. All right, this guy's going to make it. This is a soldier we're dealing with. Let's do it. So
it's amazing that we keep the stats that we do, and the stat for 2023, we transported 831 veterans.
That's an average of about 3 a day almost. If you do the 365, and so 2 to 3 a day almost, and it's probably more than that because that's I'm thinking 7 days a week instead of 5.
And we had a total of 947 applications taken to take them, but 147 declined when we called. They called in and say, "I don't need to go anymore," or something.
Something happened where they changed it up.
That's 947 souls. We traveled 127,121 miles. Wow. Now figure that's about 4 times around the world.
I'm about to say that's a lot of tires.
We do roll. We roll Monday through Wednesday to Albuquerque. Monday through Thursday we go to Artesia, and if there is special accommodations to be made by specialists, we will take them to any hospital on any day.
Nice.
It's becoming really hard for us to continue
with just the 22 volunteers right now.
And 6 are down.
And 6 are down, so you're down
15.
A third almost here. Yeah, so.
We're taking 15 now.
And like you said, it's every day they're going. So at any given time, you probably have 3 or 4 drivers that are going in different directions or out on the road taking care of veterans at any given moment. So if you can drive a day a week or 2 days a week or 3 days a week or whatever you're available to, we would love to have you do that. Like I said, it's routes to, could be to Midland, Odessa, Albuquerque, could be just a hop down to Artesia. But don't forget, you're also picking up folks from these areas too.
Yes, we are.
So if you have folks that, I know some of you that don't live in Roswell, maybe live in Hagerman or Dexter or Lake Arthur, we would love to have you volunteer too, because sometimes it's easier when we got some veterans in that neck of the woods. You can grab them while you're down there and bring them up with you while we, especially if they got to go up to Albuquerque or something.
We have 2 vans in Artesia too, and we're getting 2 vans in Carlsbad. In fact, we're getting 3 new vans from the legislature this year.
Excellent.
The legislature has been so good to us.
Good. You should be.
And Chaves County they hold the pink slip for us, and they do everything. I mean, we are so indebted to everybody, to all these different organizations, and without them, we wouldn't be what we're doing.
And kind of as a testament to what the Veterans Transport does, like you said, the county's kind of your stewards for your financing and these things. They don't do that kind of stuff for people, for organizations that are not on the up and up or have a track record of messing up.
Right.
They don't do that. They do. But when they have an organization that's constantly serving the people of Chaves County and doing it in much the capacity, the county will go and do these kinds of things for them. So I know you guys are very thankful the county does this, but to me, the fact that they do this for you is as much a testament of the quality of what you guys do as an advertisement for that, saying, hey, look, the county believes in what they're doing. That's why they've dove in full feet to help support and keep this organization rolling.
I dare say we're the only organization, and we don't accept any federal funding whatsoever. We're running on donations, contributions, and foundation grants only. We won't accept money from the government because, as you know,
comes with strings.
The Arabs have a saying that really fits. The Arabs always say that if you let a camel's nose into the tent, eventually the whole camel will be there.
Yeah.
So if we were to accept money from the government, they could come in and try to tell us how to run.
All of a sudden, you're not in control of your volunteer organization anymore.
So we have declined money and vans, and will continue.
And that's where the county has kind of said, look, we'll let you run it how you run it as long as everything's up and up. And they give you that freedom to do what you got to do, especially when there's a unique situation or a status of a veteran that we have to get going, and it's not in the normal operations of what the organization does. That gives you that freedom to do those kind of things.
Yeah. Well, I also have the January stats. So we transported 69 vets in January up to today.
We still got a day or two left.
Yeah, we will take more. And we've traveled 10,596 miles.
Just in the month of January. Wow.
And we have 266 volunteer hours, which our vets are driving, our drivers are driving, and we record all of the time that happens. In fact, last year we donated 3,190 hours of service to this community.
And some of that helps with the grants and side of things, too. When you apply for some of these grants, they use these statistics as their measuring stick to see how much you're worthy of receiving.
And we're the best run organization as we run in the nation, bar none. We ask nothing from the government. We just do what we do, and we will continue, God willing, as long as we have drivers.
That's the big key in the crux in this plan here.
If you're a driver, if you're a person and you have 1 or 2 days that you can spend, and you want to do something for your country and for the veterans themselves,
some great individuals.
You'll meet some nice guys.
It will change your life.
Sometimes you will meet not so nice guys. But they've been through hell.
They're probably dealing with some PTSD or some other mental health issues and things. And, but here's the thing. It's going to make you, it's going to put life in perspective. I can't tell this enough to young people. If you have the time and the ability to do this, take advantage of it. Yeah, you're even though you're going out to help others, you're going to take so much from this.
Yes.
It'll make you a better human being. And dare I say, if you're looking for a little direction in your life, this might put you on the path to where your dream is or where you want to go with your life. This I swear to God, I'm not trying to blow smoke here. It's when you talk to some of these veterans, and these are folks, like you said, some are a little more chatty than others, but these are people with a wealth of information, a wealth of life experience, and if you are willing to talk to them, most of them would love to share that kind of wisdom.
They do. And I say our drivers are male and female. You don't have to be a veteran. You can just be a person who's
you're a caring person that it's a licensed driver that can drive people to and from, then that's, and you don't have a 70,000 points on your license or, any of that stuff.
Years back, I was washing my truck, one of my vans, and this guy walked up and he says, "Hey, I'd like to drive for you guys." I said, "Wonderful. Now, question, have you any speeding tickets in the last 5 or 10 years? He says, "No, I don't speed." I said, "Do you have any DWIs?" He looked at me, he says, "Well, I've had 2, but I wasn't too drunk."
Well, that's all right then.
We can't use it.
If you were too drunk, that'd be a problem. But since you weren't too drunk, but yeah,
it's something that
But then again, I imagine if it was 20 years ago as opposed to a year ago, that's a little different too.
Yes,
We were all young and dumb once and did dumb things.
Oh, boy. So I'm pleading to this listening audience that if you do have some time, call our office.
Yeah.
At 575-622-0729. That is, you will be in touch with Alice or Donna.
All right.
Which are the two most wonderful ladies you can ever imagine. That
they're the organized ones that
without they can run without me, but we can't run without them.
Gotcha. You can take a day off. They can't.
And there are only paid employees.
Good. Well,
everybody else is voluntary.
I'm glad that they're able to do this 24/7 because the volume of work that you guys have.
Yes.
That's the problem. It's not for lack of veterans that need appointments. Like you said, you've got almost 1,000 that you serviced here last year. The point is having enough volunteers to get these veterans to their appointment. You guys kind of have to run like a little bit of a train schedule here just because these appointments on certain days and there's patterns there. So you kind of have to have these drivers on call at any given time. So that's the thing. And like you said, you have a lot of seniors themselves that are veterans and they've got their own doctor's appointments and,
yes, we do.
Medical health issues they've got to take care of. So their time is limited too sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So if you got a day a week or 2 days a week or whatever it is, 3 times a month, whatever it is, that would be an amazing gift.
You can pick where you would like to drive to. I mean, some drivers will drive anywhere at any time.
Sure.
Others only want to go to Albuquerque. Others only want to drive to Artesia. And we have other drivers that will just drive within the city limits.
Okay.
But we will take anybody that has a good driving record. The requirement is you bring in your driving record to us. We submit it to our insurance corporation, which we paid $35,000.
I was going to say, you probably pay a lot of money in insurance because the vehicles on the road all the time.
There is never a year where we get a break.
Yeah, I would imagine. And of course, every once in a while, there's probably a fender bender or something that happens.
We have had one reportable accident.
Knock on wood.
Just one, and it was just a very slight accident.
Good.
But all of my drivers are very courteous, except one or two.
Well, they all are caring people because they wouldn't be behind that wheel if they weren't caring people, and that's just it. So please reach out. Please call Megal or call the Veterans Transport 575-622-0729. Again, that's 575-622-0729. That's the main office number. You guys also have Facebook, if I remember right.
Yes, we do. It's on there.
If you look at it, if you do a search for Southeast New Mexico Veterans Transport Network, it should pop right up. You can always shoot Megal an email to MegalDurand at msn.com if you have some questions or want some more information. And he'll, if he doesn't answer direct, he'll get it to one of his capable assistants to get that information to you.
They're really the bosses. I'm not.
They just kind of point. Well, you know what? There's always been kind of a joke, my wife and all that. And it's like, yeah, the man is the head of the family, but the wife is the neck. And she turns the head on which direction the head goes.
That is true.
That is very true. So.
But life is good here in Roswell. We're blessed. Yes, we are rural. In fact, we're so rural that when we were scheduled to see about getting a CBOC, it's a little hospital for our own here in Roswell, they gave it to another rural place, and it's called Rio Rancho.
Oh.
They built one over there, which is marvelous for them.
One of the most rural places in the state.
And we got squat.
Yeah, it's rural.
So thank you very much for allowing me to be here.
Anytime. They only have 10 Starbucks. That makes it rural.
That's true.
But thank you, Megal, and thank you and all of your volunteers and all of your two assistants there too that keep this amazing organization going. And folks, if you're looking to make a difference, this is a great way to do it. And I tell you, you're going to take out way more from this than you give back. It's just going to happen.
You're making points with the big guy.
Yeah, exactly. it's never a bad thing to serve others and to help others.
It's never.
And I always find that when I find issues or problems in my own life, sometimes taking time to help and serve others kind of allows me to work my own issues out sometimes too. So
God has been good to us.
Absolutely.
We are in a Christian nation, but we take anybody, and we will continue always. So if you need a ride, call us.
Yes, reach out. If you need appointments, let's get you on the schedule.
If you need a ride for an appointment that you don't know, we will pick you up at your door, take you, and bring you home.
Yeah, door-to-door service.
That's our promise.
Can't beat that. It's door-to-door service. And we want you to go to your medical appointments. We want you to stay healthy.
We need you to.
We need you to be around for a little longer. So please, if you're having trouble getting to your appointments, reach out. Call again. Call Megal direct or call the office here direct at 575-622-0729. If you do not get a live person, leave a voicemail. They will get back to you as soon as humanly possible.
That's true.
And take care of your needs.
That's true. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Megal, and we'll see you next time here. And anything we can do to get the word out or help out, let me know.
Well, you guys are doing great doing this, and I thank you. And I thank the people of Roswell, Artesia, Carlsbad that are involved with me and with us, and we are here to serve.
And if anybody out there, businesses or entities out there listening, and you're looking for a great grassroots down-home organization that you can be a part of to help, I invite you to check out Southeastern Mexico Veterans Transport Network.
Yes, sir.
It is a jewel of organizations. So
we are just a collection of men and women doing what we think is right.
Absolutely.
For the good and not for any monetary gain.
Just for the
But when you go see the big boy upstairs and he looks in plus and minus, this will do something.
Absolutely.
None of my drivers are paid.
Yeah, that's right. It's all like you said. The only people who are volunteer are you two, basically people that run the day-to-day operations of the organization.
Yes,
organizing the schedules, the lists, navigating who needs to go where to what to when, and all that. That which is probably a full-time job to do all that.
So. It is true.
Yeah.
So thank you very much.
Thank you, Megal, and God bless you guys. And we look forward to seeing you again soon.
And thank you, and God bless everybody out there.
Awesome.
In a shooting incident we reported last week at Carlsbad Medical Center, police now say they're looking for the girlfriend of the man they said shot someone in the hospital's parking lot. 30-year-old Angelina Guevara is listed as wanted. She is charged with 5 felony crimes, including being an accessory to aggravated battery. Ruben Lugo Jr. is the man police say shot and wounded the victim after an argument that started in the 2400 block of West Pierce Street. Lugo is also not in custody, so if you have any information, call Carlsbad Police. A proposal to reintroduce jaguars to New Mexico has been rejected by the federal government. A conservation group called the Center for Biological Diversity submitted a petition about a year ago arguing that the forest in southwest New Mexico was ideal for the species recovery. That's the Gila National Forest. Jaguars were listed as endangered in the 1970s, and the petition called on the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to revise the listing's critical habitat designation to include the forest in New Mexico and the Chihuahua Mountains in southern Arizona, where North America's only known jaguar lives. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
How many subscriptions do you really have? You think it's just streaming services like Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Hulu? Well, think again. There's more, a lot more where they came from. I'm Kim Commando, America's Digital Pro. You're underestimating what you've subscribed to. A report from the Wall Street Journal found that Americans spend billions of dollars on stuff that they've forgotten about. In fact, according to a poll, when asked about how much money Americans spend on subscriptions, most say $63 a month. That real number, it's more like $270. Here's how to figure out what you're really subscribing to. Start with your email. Search for words like subscription, bill, renewal, or monthly charge. This helps spot the forgotten ones. Also, check your bank statements for recurring payments. If some names are unclear, just Google them. You can also use apps like Rocket Money to monitor your subscriptions. They show all your recurring charges in one place. Hey, I'm giving away a brand new PC or Mac on my website. Enter to win at commando.com/win. Are you 55 and up and looking to get a great value on your phone plan? Then look no further than T-Mobile. They have an exclusive plan made just for you with more savings. Get 2 lines on T-Mobile's network for $27.50 a line with autopay and eligible payment method. That's a savings of 50% versus AT&T and Verizon's unlimited plans. Plus, you can get one of the latest 5G phones free when you add a line. That means you can stay connected on the latest phones for free. Don't miss out. Join T-Mobile, America's largest 5G network. Go to T-Mobile.com/55 or call 1-800-T-Mobile to switch today.
2 lines for $27.50 per line, plus taxes and fees. $5 more per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. Phone up to $300 off via 24 monthly bill credits for well-qualified customers plus tax. Contact us before canceling account to continue bill credits or credit stop and balance on required finance agreement due. $35 per line. Connection charge applies. See T-Mobile.com for details.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We have a long stretch of pretty nice conditions coming up over the next few days. Our next system may bring us a few showers by Friday, but pretty fair in between now and then. Mid-60s on our high today, and we get sunshine. Upper 30s and a few clouds drifting through for the overnight hours. We're looking at upper 60s for the high on Wednesday, low 70s Thursday, and sunny. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
It's time for the Chaves County Sports Report. It's the beginning of the district basketball schedule for the Roswell Coyotes tonight. Yesterday, we told you how the Roswell girls will be at Hobbs this evening. Well, the Roswell boys will be hosting the Hobbs Eagles, and don't be too fooled by the Eagles' record. They're 8-12, but they just showed what they could do the other night by winning in Artesia by a score of 55-51. Roswell's last game was a victory over Artesia, and they're 11-9 on the season. They'll host the Hobbs Eagles tonight at 7 o'clock. Goddard, meanwhile, at home against NMMI. That starts at 6:30 this evening. Goddard only has 3 victories, 3-14. NMMI is 9-7. Goddard starts the district schedule later in the week, Friday against Portales, but tonight it should be a good game against the Colts. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell Talk FM 106.5.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. Boeing CEO Dave Calhoun delivers the fourth quarter results on Wednesday. The company is in the crosshairs of regulators, politicians, and airlines following a harrowing mid-air cabin panel blowout on a 737 MAX jet operated by Alaska Airlines. Russia's energy infrastructure has been hit by drone attacks and fires in the past month, adding to uncertainty in the global oil and gas markets already rocked by the conflict in the Middle East. Russia and Ukraine have targeted each other's energy infrastructure in strikes designed to disrupt supply lines and logistics as they try to get the edge in a nearly 2-year-old war that shows no sign of ending. Shares in Bayer dropped as much as 5.7% on Monday after the embattled German company was ordered to pay $2.25 billion in damages, the highest amount yet in its ongoing litigation linked to an alleged carcinogenic effect of its Roundup weed killer. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
What's the buzz all about? The Honey Depot, Artesia's little store with a whole lot more. You'll find an unbelievable selection of one-of-a-kind gifts and decor. Everything from candles to soaps, books and Bible study journals, home decor, local honey, seasonings, candies, and more. Not to mention a staff that's sweeter than honey. So buzz on in. If you can't find it here, you probably don't need it. Open Tuesday through Friday, 11 to 5:30, Saturdays 10 to 6. Closed Sunday and Monday at 104 West Hermosa Drive in Artesia. Shop local. Shop Honey Depot, the little store with a whole lot more.
The University of New Mexico. It's the state's flagship, a world-class university right here in Albuquerque. Apply for admission at UNM today at unm.edu. That's unm.edu. The University of New Mexico is the university for opportunity.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Slugs have 4 noses, but no fingers to pick them. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is closing in on 8 o'clock Town Hall News coming up here in just a few seconds. Next hour, about 8:15 or so, we're going to replay our interview we had with Matt Bristol from Bristol Law Office. He joins us each month to give us sage legal advice, and he did earlier last week. So we'll play that interview for you here in just next hour. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, about 9:15 or so, we're going to have the folks from the Roswell Community Little Theater join us, Lori Schatz and Alethea Hartwell. The big thing they'll be talking about is this Saturday. an intimate portrait of Johnny Cash Saturday, 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. showtimes at the Roswell Community Little Theater. Tickets are still available, I believe, for both shows. So we'll talk to them in the 9 o'clock hour. Town Hall News up next. We'll be back. Don't go away.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. They were in disguise, dressed as civilians and medical workers. Israeli forces have killed several Palestinian terrorists in a West Bank hospital. Meanwhile, Qatar, Egypt, and the U.S. still working to strike a deal between Israel and Hamas that could lead to a pause in the fighting and the release of hostages being held in Gaza.
National Security Council spokesman John Kirby says recent efforts to negotiate a humanitarian pause in the Israel-Hamas war to free more hostages have been constructive.
Based on the discussions we've had over the weekend and in recent days, we feel it's moving in a good direction.
However, he cautions there's much more work to do and no final deal has been reached. Greg Clugston, the White House.
And now Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu is ruling out a Gaza withdrawal or the release of thousands of terrorists, and both are key Hamas demands in those ceasefire talks. We know that Iran is behind it. That's the Pentagon's take on the attack on American forces in Jordan. Left 3 American service members dead.
They arm and equip and fund these groups. I don't have more to share on terms of an intelligence assessment on if leaders in Iran were directing this attack, but what I can tell you is that we know these groups are supported by Iran, and therefore they do have their fingerprints on this, but I can't tell you more in terms of who directed the attack.
Pentagon Deputy Press Secretary Sabrina Singh. A Republican-backed bid to impeach Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas is working its way through the House. Advancing through the committee process, it is expected to be taken up by the full House as early as next week. The South Korean military says that North Korea has launched multiple cruise missiles into the sea off of its western coast, the third round of testing of these types of weapons this month. On Wall Street, the Dow down 30 points. More details at srnnews.com.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Hong Kong considering a new national security law that would replace one imposed by Beijing that was used to crack down on dissent in the city-state. The BBC's Martin Yip in Hong Kong.
Officials say the new law will cover activities such as treason, espionage, sabotage, and foreign intervention. Hong Kong's chief executive John Lee said countries criticizing his move should know that Hong Kong was acting to protect itself from attack. Mr. Lee said those who criticized his government without criminal intent would not face punishment under the new law, but insisted it be enacted as soon as possible so that Hong Kong could concentrate on developing its economy.
The UN Weather Agency confirmed a reading of 119.8 degrees Fahrenheit in Sicily 2 years ago, the hottest temperature ever recorded in Europe. News and analysis at townhall.com. Authorities concerned about the rise in court stormings following college basketball games.
Fans storming the court after big wins and the safety risk associated with them now receiving more scrutiny. That's since Iowa superstar Caitlin Clark collided with an Ohio State fan. That came after the Buckeyes' upset of the Hawkeyes in Columbus. Since then, there have been at least 5 more cases, and officials say court storming will likely continue. But eventually, someone will be severely injured. Jason Walker reporting.
President Biden heads off to Florida today on a mission to collect more campaign cash. Florida, one-time swing state that has since become a Republican stronghold and the home turf of former President Trump. Mr. Biden will be attending 2 fundraisers today, one in Jupiter and the other in Miami. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to our number 2.
The Deuce.
Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Hope your Tuesday is going amazingly well. It'll be a warm one. Last couple days of January. Supposed to be in the upper 60s next couple days. Pretty nice. No complaints here. So hope your Tuesday's going well. You know, I watched something. It was actually something I recorded, I think around New Year's. And it was sitting on the DVR, so I watched over the weekend. It was pretty good. It was on, I think, CBS. It's on one of the networks. And it was on, I want to say it was on like over like the Christmas and New Year's weekend or something, where it was on, and there was those times where they're not really showing anything on network TV except for like movies or some kind of old Christmas special or something. So, but this one was a 2-hour like documentary on MASH, the sitcom MASH. And so I recorded it, I guess, over the holiday.
Would you really call MASH a sitcom?
Technically, it had a laugh track.
I guess, yeah, it did have a laugh track, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it dealt with non-comedic issues, but it was a show based in comedy.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway,
it's just because it wasn't like a standard 3-camera sitcom,
right? Yeah, it was more theatrical,
right? It was one cam.
But they had the 2-hour documentary on. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. Some I knew, some I didn't realize. Like the one thing that kind of surprised me a little bit was Colonel Blake, McLean Stevenson. Of course, he was killed on the show,
right?
When he got out. Basically, what was going on in real life, and this part I knew. He wanted his own show. He was getting a little big-headed.
Oh,
so
okay.
they wrote him off the show.
Wow.
And didn't renew his contract. But you know, if you've seen the show, you know he was discharged. He was getting in his helicopter to fly back to the States, and he was killed in an airplane crash on his way back to the States and died. And so
you hate to see it.
So they couldn't bring him back on the show ever.
Right.
So that's why they do that. But the part I didn't know was that episode they filmed it. They gave the crew the whole script except for the last page.
Oh, wow.
So they filmed that whole episode not knowing that Colonel Blake was going to die at the end. And then and that day of filming, they gave him the last page, and everyone was like, whoa. Okay. They knew he wasn't coming back because
Sure.
he said he was leaving the show.
But they didn't know they were slapping that kind of permanence on it.
Yeah, they didn't know they were going to kill him. And so that was kind of a big deal.
You know,
it's funny because of the breakup of cable and everybody cutting the cord and stuff. There will never be another moment like the finale of MASH.
Yeah.
That moment where everyone who was alive, who had access to a TV, stopped and at least took a look.
And I don't think it's been matched since.
The only thing that can match MASH is the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
There's been a couple of Super Bowls that have come close, but nothing. I don't think anything will ever break that record
because
it's impossible.
It is because when MASH was out, people basically had 3 channels.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they didn't have a cable or satellite or 60,000 different things to watch on TV. And so, yeah, you're right. And what they estimated, according to the documentary, was approximately half the country was watching MASH when the finale aired.
Mm-hmm.
Half of the country.
Right.
That would never come
You
close to
gotta
something
feel
like that.
bad if you're like the Lawrence Welk show.
Yeah.
You know, it's just some band leader just standing in front of a band, popping bubbles like, nobody's watching, huh?
Yeah. But it was really good. And they were talking about, when they did the cast, and of course, the seriousness of, how they wanted to treat the war and, tackle the issues that they tackle
right
in that show. And it was, but anyway, it was a very good documentary. And if it shows up on, I guess, probably Paramount Plus or something, it's worth a check out.
Yeah. The speaking of Paramount Plus, I guess the Super Bowl this year is going to be on CBS, but also on Paramount Plus.
Is it?
Yes. So if you don't have traditional cable means or satellite means, if you got Paramount Plus or a buddy that's got it, there you go.
Well, yeah, and now if I think they're, and actually they're making Paramount Plus, like they're dangling out of carrots to get people, because now you get Showtime with Paramount Plus.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if I get
Showtime. The shine or the sheen of Showtime sort of wore off after like the internet really became.
Well,
a
they
thing.
have like one show that's like worth watching. The rest are kind of like and so you're like, I want to see that one show, but I don't want to pay a whole thing just to watch that one show.
Now I will say that they also have Heels.
Yeah.
Which is a pro wrestling show.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty
I
well
go look
done.
to see if that's on Paramount Plus. I don't remember seeing it on.
It's
there.
it's a Showtime.
All right,
show,
but
so.
Showtime, Paramount Plus shows Showtime stuff.
You know what else is weird is, and I forget that they're even a thing, but Stars is still around.
Mm-hmm.
Like they still like are trying. They have like 2 or 3 shows. There's like that pirate show that was sort of big for a minute.
Yeah. They don't do well with their original content. They were usually better at getting the bigger blockbuster movies.
Yeah.
Like when they rolled onto the scene, they were kind of undercutting HBO for the big movies there for a little bit.
We had when I was growing up, and this is going to sound like a little brag, but when I was growing up, we had a king dog satellite dish. We had it was only for like about a year and a half of my life, but we lived in this house that had one of those giant satellite dishes in the backyard. So we got all the channels.
Right.
Specifically, we got Stars and Encore. Stars was always for the brand new first run. These are the hot movies. Encore was like, that's where you're going to go catch like, Oh God, book 2,
right.
like
10-year-old movies.
Classic movies, great movies, but they've had their moment.
Right.
Encore was for the encores. It made sense.
Oh yeah, I used to. TCM, the movie channel.
Well, that's Turner Classic.
No, not TCM. TMC, the movie channel.
The movie channel, yeah.
Was another one of their spinoffs like Encore.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure if that was Showtime or Cinemax that had.
I want to say that was, it was Stars Encore, the movie channel.
Yeah.
It was one of their babies,
Yeah, I remember those. Yep. Yeah, because I remember when they started adding multiple movie channels and how big a deal it was. Like, wait a minute, I got 6 HBOs now?
Wait,
that was
what,
such a big
HBO
deal.
Latina?
Yeah.
Ooh, the allure.
Back in the day, you had HBO.
One of the coolest things about having the satellite dish, it was an EcoStar. It was one of those like, like you had to like find the satellite and like you could move it. Depending upon where you pointed it or where you were aiming at, what area, galaxy, whatever, you could pick up some weird stuff.
I imagine.
like news feeds of like the anchor before they go live to him, of him
The
just
raw
like
footage.
adjusting his shirt, picking
Right.
his nose, whatever. There were whole channels that were just devoted to, and this always kind of creeped me out, but they were like the commercials for like coming up on the next Sister.
Oh yeah, the promos.
But then at the end, it was just like a bunch of like low played music, because that was where the network
local
would put
IDs.
in their
local
info.
tags.
But it was just like on the next Sister. Ba-dum-bum-bum-bum-bum.
Radio kind of had some of that too.
Yeah, it was. But it was when I was a kid, it was very off putting.
Yeah. Radio, you see it more on our side.
Mhm.
There's actually a feed on the satellite that you can go get, like the Rush back in the day and the Hannity promos and all that, and they would put them over the feed and you record them.
This audience, if
you download them,
if they've been listening close enough, they've been privy to one of those when we accidentally have it on a Hugh Hewitt feed, and it'll replay, or it'll play the final countdown.
Yeah,
with some tones.
Yeah, once in a while it does happen. You're listening to the Westwood One radio channel.
There used to be a term, we don't really use them. I guess we kind of do, but we don't really use them much anymore. Called in radio called sectones, and those sectones were the things that triggered the next event.
And they still use the tones
They
all
do.
the time. We live and die by tones, and whenever Clay and Buck or any of our shows on, we have our local commercials and tones. They send tones that trigger all the systems to say, play the commercial right now.
Yeah, I imagine like if there's like a dog listening, it just drives him nuts.
Right.
Because it's always super high frequency. Like just so you can't hear it, but the machine can. And also your dog.
Imagine the sonar guy for down Periscope can outwork in radio.
Yeah, there you go.
It would drive him
Yeah.
nuts. It is 8:16. We're going to replay our interview we had with Matt Bristol from Bristol Law Office. Probably should get that going here. He always joins us each month with Sage Legal Advice.
And Sage, he brings a little
He
bit
sages
of it.
for us too.
He does.
Yes. Yeah,
Nice.
keep the evil spirits away. You ever sage something? I've never done it.
Yeah. It's quite.
Does it smell sagey?
It does. It smells like burnt sage. It's nice. I enjoy it. I think it's I don't necessarily believe or buy into what it's for, but
Right.
it's nice.
Makes you feel better.
Makes
I
your
guess.
house smell like sage.
I guess.
Yeah. Spicy.
Well, is there something about sage in the
Well, here's the
paranormal
thing.
world that they don't like the smell of sage, or
It's more just like it moves away the bad spirits, essentially.
is that like a fart in the paranormal world?
I guess so, yeah. They can't stand the smell of sage. Hoof saged. That's hoof, kids. Still to this day, one of my favorite shirts ever. Hoof arted.
Ice melted. All right, it is 17 minutes after 8. Here's your weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We have a long stretch of pretty nice conditions coming up over the next few days. Our next system may bring us a few showers by Friday, but pretty fair in between now and then. Mid-60s on our high today, and we get sunshine. Upper 30s and a few clouds drifting through for the overnight hours. We're looking at upper 60s for the high on Wednesday, low 70s Thursday, and sunny. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 37 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 67%. Winds currently out of the north at 8 miles per hour. Another nice day today, mostly sunny. Expect a high of 67 degrees. Winds will be out of the north at around 5 miles per hour. Tonight, partly cloudy. Looking at an overnight low of 37 degrees. Southwest winds at around 5 miles per hour. Wednesday, mostly sunny. Once again, 67 for a high. West winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, clear skies with an overnight low of 38 degrees. South winds 5 to 10. Thursday, sunny, 72 for a high. Southwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Friday, there is a 20% chance at some showers after 11. Otherwise, partly cloudy and breezy with a high of 64. Looking at the weekend, Saturday, sunny and windy with a high of 59 degrees. Sunday, sunny skies, breezy with a high of 63. All right, it is 8:19. We're going to take a 2.5 minute break. Then we're going to play our interview with Matt Bristol from Bristol Law Office. Don't go away.
The Calico Cow has moved to a new home. Visit the Calico Cow at their new home, 200 East College, behind Farley's in Roswell. Lots of exciting changes at the new Calico Cow. New LED lighting, an amazing large classroom, plus more space, which means lots of new items and an even bigger selection of fabrics. Come see it for yourself. Want to know how? Come see the cow. The Calico Cow's new home at 200 East College in Roswell.
Attention Roswell, Carlsbad, Artesia, and surrounding areas. Roswell Tire and Appliance has what you're looking for with a great selection of refrigerators, freezers, washers and dryers, and ranges, and they can prepare your appliance as well with many models in stock and on sale. You can own it today. RTA services after the sale with repair, warranty, and delivery to Roswell and surrounding areas. Save big on a selection of scratch and dent appliances too, plus a great selection of tires and a team of people to help you when you need it most. Roswell Tire and Appliance, 101 South Main in downtown Roswell.
Can't hear as well as you used to? That can happen to the best of us, but when you can't hear people speaking or birds chirping, it's time to take action. That's when it's time to call Howard Allman with Here on Earth Hearing Care Center. Howard has been helping people hear better for over 55 years. Howard is who helps the Artesia seniors with servicing their hearing aids of all makes with free cleaning and hearing evaluations, and he's ready to help you. Howard can share with you information on Audibel Intrigue AI hearing aids with many features you might not expect a hearing aid can do, such as using your hearing aids to stream calls, music, and more. Plus, health monitoring, count steps, even fall detection, all built in. Meet face-to-face with someone who can help you choose the right hearing aid for you. Call Howard at 575-622-0375, and he'll be glad to set up a time to meet with you. That's 575-622-0375 for Howard Allman of Here on Earth Hearing Care Center.
Knowledge is the power to see more, do more, and be more. As one of the most affordable universities in the Southwest, Eastern New Mexico University has helped thousands of people like you earn a degree. Spring 2024 at ENMU is the perfect time to get started with affordable tuition, great scholarships, and a wide range of in-person or online classes. Learn your power. Apply today for spring 2024 at enmu.edu. Eastern New Mexico University. Student success. That's what we're about.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Sigmund Freud once believed that cocaine could be used to help treat a morphine addiction. Mike used bacon to get over his addiction to beef. Here's Mike Winters.
Joining us in studio this morning.
And good morning. It is
19 minutes after 7
morning,
o'clock.
Mike. You're sounding a lot better
Joining us
than
in
you did.
studio this morning, Matt Bristol with Bristol Law. Good morning, Matt.
Morning, Mike. You're sounding a lot better than you did on Monday.
I do. I'm not 100%, but and it's effort, less effort. That's why I can talk and have a back and forth without feeling like I just did a workout or anything.
Yeah, Monday you were really, really bad. I'm glad we gave you a rest.
And it was that was pretty good compared to the week before. So this is almost. Jeez. I feel almost normal. Like I don't feel like I'm some weirdo invalid and everybody walks in the room like, where's that guy? But anyway, for folks not familiar, because usually we talk to Matt on Mondays. So if you're not a normal tuner into Monday mornings in the 7 o'clock hour, Matt Bristol joins us each month from his office, Bristol Law, and he is an attorney, deals with family law, things like that, but we kind of talk a little bit of all kinds of law here. Yeah. And, of course, just gives sage legal advice when it comes to financial planning, when it comes to knowing legally what to do with your money, whether it comes to being a business or a family. We'll talk a lot about estate planning, things like that, things that Matt sees a lot in his practice, that if people took some of this advice, Matt would make less money each year as an attorney because he would have a few less caseloads.
Pretty much, yeah. But it keeps me in business, so that's a good thing.
Business is good, and but in the meantime, maybe Matt can save you a little time hassle and save you a little headache down the road.
Yeah, we do a little bit of everything, like you're saying, and we do estate planning. We've done consumer bankruptcy. We do family law, all sorts of aspects of family law, for example. And so every once in a while in the family law arena, we'll have somebody come in and they'll say, well, I want sole custody of my kids. And I'll ask them, okay, so what does that mean to you? And I get all sorts of weird answers. I don't know so you're a lay person. What would you think sole custody means?
Well, to be honest, the way I interpret sole custody is one parent is the guardian of said child, and is in charge of all access to this kid, to the others, basically, and usually it's, when I see it, it's because one of the two parties is not fit to raise the kid. So when I hear that, it's because they want no contact with the other party.
Yeah, a lot of times they'll say exactly that. Well, I don't want my ex to ever see the kids, and so good luck with that. I mean, unless they're on meth or a registered
right, you have
child
to be
offender.
you have to prove that they're like a danger to society.
Oh, yeah.
To really qualify for that.
Yeah, it's got to be a really, really extreme example. Well, New Mexico actually has two kinds of custody. So one is the statute's called physical custody, but the court likes to refer to it as time sharing, because time sharing is a lot less emotionally charged word than the C word. So one type of custody is time sharing. How much do the kids spend with each parent?
Gotcha. Because that's when you hear terms like joint custody.
Well,
is that kind of in that frame, or is that different?
That's different.
Okay.
The word joint is used in a different sense.
Okay.
So the other custody we have is called legal custody, and that's where we use the word joint.
Okay.
So joint legal custody is presumed by statute to be best for the kid, and that has to do with decision making. Because back in the bad old days, when the kid lived mostly with mommy and dad had Tuesday night visits, say, and mom would go sign the kid up for karate on Tuesday nights. And dad was like, what's up with that?
What are you going to deny the kid karate?
Yeah.
So it's it's a tactic.
Yeah. So now, with joint legal custody, all decisions affecting the child have to be joint decisions.
So in theory, and I'm getting a little what if here, but say mom wanted to sign their kid up for karate on Tuesday night. With this, does in essence the karate people have to have both mom and dad's signatures to let the child play karate? Is that or is that too in the weeds here?
Yeah, I don't know if the karate people, excuse me, know that or not.
Okay.
Excuse me. But mom is not supposed to sign the kid up for karate without talking to dad. It
Gotcha.
a joint decision. Say join the chess club. Got to be a joint decision. Choice of religion's a joint decision.
Gotcha.
In theory, the kid can't even join the church choir without it being a joint decision of the parents.
How does that work for like healthcare and stuff? Because obviously it's joint, but say there's an emergency situation. I mean, I guess in a normal marriage, one or both can consign to permit to. So I'm guessing that's probably
If there's an emergency, you take care of the emergency.
Yeah, I just didn't know because when you get to kids and they have to do some kind of procedure on them, you got to get permissions to do those things.
Right. So if a kid has some kind of elective medical event, then that's supposed to be a joint decision. But if the kid's broken his arm, I mean, you take him straight to the ER.
I didn't know if there was like, well, we can't set it till dad says it's okay.
No. But joint legal custody also means that both parents have access to medical records. They both have access to school records. They both have equal access to all parts of the child's life.
One can't deny the other that information. When one calls the doctor to find out the status,
correct,
they get the information.
Yeah. Yeah, so doctors' offices are usually pretty aware if there's a joint legal custody situation that the other parent calls up and asks questions. Yep, they got to answer the questions.
Gotcha. Makes sense.
And then time sharing is, the judge is going to alternate weekends as much as possible, depending on work schedules. So time sharing really revolves around work schedules.
Sure.
And so if you got someone that works in the oil patch, say, and they're like 10 days on, 3 days off, well, guess when they're seeing the kids? On the 3 days off.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's, parents.
So you can't really make a set schedule per se. It's like every other weekend because that just doesn't work in that world.
Right.
Yeah.
In that particular world. But,
yeah.
Both parents have, Monday through Friday jobs. Then they're going to alternate weekends. Yeah. The court's going to alternate holidays in some fashion. And so really what it boils down to is where's the kid Monday through Friday? And again, that's going to predominantly fall on work schedules.
Sure. Who's available more? More than likely will be the one that's responsible for the child during that time. So
yeah. So I had a case where I represented mom of child, and there was a father of child, and then so father of child wanted like 50-50 time sharing. So even if it's 50-50 time sharing, we don't use the word joint. We don't use the word joint on the legal side.
It's like a vacation home.
So some of my clients says, well, but he works all the time. Okay, what does work all the time mean?
Yeah.
So we get his pay stubs, and he's working 80 hours a week. I mean, lots of overtime. Well, how's he going to have the kid when he's working 80 hours a week, and he lives in Roswell but works in Artesia?
Exactly.
So now you got that drive every day. And so it just wasn't practical for him to have the kid Monday through Friday because he's working, 12-hour days.
Kid'll be home alone.
Days.
Yeah.
So he was a little unreasonable in that regard. Now, if he'd cut his hours or something, okay, we'll talk. But so really work boils down to, work schedules. And when I try to bring people down to that level, it takes a lot of emotion out of it, I hope. I'm trying to take that emotion out.
Well, you really, really hope for families, and this is where it gets away from the legal, and let's act like adults here. You really hope that those families can work out some of those details without the court's help. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, you work 80 hours, but look, I know you're off the next 2 days. I'll bring the kid over and you can have the kid for the 2 days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You would hope they could work that out to okay, we can set guidelines here and set parameters, but at the end of the day, can you all be adults and do a little give and take when the circumstances change in your schedules?
Well, that's a good point.
Yeah.
And actually, that is the preferred method. So the written order of time sharing in the court's eyes is actually Plan B. Plan A is just as you're saying, the parents are flexible, they work things out. So I got a free day off, can I see the kid? Or, can you switch with me on a particular day? Something's come up. If the wife wants to go shopping with the girls in Albuquerque, then she should call dad and say, hey, you want to flip weekends or do something. So in the court's eyes, that's the only written order that the parties can both agree to ignore.
Gotcha.
And the court wants the parents to work things out.
And they encourage you to do that.
Oh, yeah. But getting there is sometimes a hard process.
Absolutely. Well, depending on how emotional the divorce is, absolutely. If emotions are high, then guess what? This one's going to be a dog fight to work out the details. But if everyone's calmer heads or there's a little less animosity there, or at least they can put that aside for the sake of the children, then things tend to work a little bit smoother.
Yeah, and I ask people, Mike, do you really want some guy in a black robe who doesn't know you, doesn't know your kid, making this decision?
Exactly.
It's your kid, and you got a spouse or other parent, and you guys need to decide what's best for your kid, not some stranger.
Well, and also, too, when life changes and when things change, it's a lot easier for you to change it between the two of you than getting the judge involved to change it.
Yep.
To change it, it's just a matter of a conversation between you two. Now we got to get lawyers involved, court involved, and petitions involved, and all kinds of things.
Well, there's the financial cost.
Yeah.
There's an emotional cost on both parents. There's an emotional cost on the child, and surely there's got to be an easier way to do this, folks. If somebody's just kind of really mature.
The biggest piece of advice you can give when you're dealing with this stuff is look. I know emotions get high, but let the calmer head prevail. It will work things out at the end of the day so much better, even if you don't get the total outcome you want, because you're dealing with family, blood here. You're dealing with children, and there is no, line in the sand type emotional stuff in human nature than that right there. So it just is.
And I remind people that, until somebody passes away, you're stuck together. So when that kid goes through 6th grade graduation or 7th grade graduation or high school graduation, prom and all that kind of stuff, your birthdays, you're stuck for a long, long time. And to be able to start now to, concede, make agreements, get along in a business sense at least, it's going to make their lives a whole lot easier in the future.
Yeah.
Because at some point, Matt's out of the picture, but those people are stuck together for a long time.
Absolutely. You will be dealing with them the rest of your lives. That's just
right.
The nature of the beast.
After college, who they see on Thanksgiving or Christmas and grandkids. And so if people can learn to, at least in a business sense, work things out.
And I know we're starting to get a little to the therapy side more than the legal side here, but just my 50 years of being on this earth and seeing how humans do things is where I come from this piece of advice. You know, how you interact with your significant other and how that whole process will greatly impact your relationship with your children. Mm-hmm. Because when you two fight, you're in essence forcing your children to pick sides.
Right.
And that's going to create animosity. That's going to create deep seedings that may not bubble to the surface now, but 20 years from now, when your child is an adult and they're living their lives and doing their things, that might impact your relationship with them.
Oh, absolutely.
These are the things you need to consider that it's really hard to see when you're hyped up in the emotional side of things. So that's really what, I'm just like, you got to think big picture in terms of these. If your head is not in the big picture at the end of this, you're probably going to come out with an outcome that you're not too happy with.
Yeah, and unfortunately, there are some parents, they try to use the child as a weapon against the other parent, or they send messages to the kid, and that's going to backfire. The kid's going to resent that. Seen cases where the kid misbehaves, didn't do their homework, didn't study for the exam. It's like, okay, so your punishment is you can't see your dad this weekend. And that is absolutely wrong in the court's eyes. That is not the proper way to punish the child.
Absolutely.
By depriving the other parent of his time with the child.
Yeah.
So it's, a little adult perspective would be a good thing.
Yeah. And I get it. Sometimes you learn these things on the fly. How you think, this is the beauty of people that have gray hair or no hair, like Matt and myself. We probably screwed up 3 or 4 times to get to this point where we're telling you the right thing. You know what I mean? That's that wisdom of life sometimes.
Well, and so I've seen cases where, it's a young child, a divorce with young children, but I've seen cases where they've been divorced 10 or 12 years,
Mm-hmm.
the kids are teenagers. And so you see at different stages what has developed from good behaviors and early on or bad behaviors early on.
She was curious in generalities here, because you do handle a lot of these kinds of cases where you're dealing with the family feud, so to speak, here on this. Is there a single 1 or 2 items that are always the crux in every one of these situations? Is there a commonality there that you're just like, I don't know if it's an emotional thing or it's a line in the sand or just a mindset that one party has that is consistent in all these that really is kind of that key to making this difficult versus something that's a little bit more manageable?
No one thing. So if there's infidelity in the marriage, the other parent is going to want the kids, and the other parent, then the non-faithful spouse, well, they shouldn't see the kid. They weren't faithful, and so it doesn't work that way. A lot of times we see where there's a divorce with a young, especially a baby under the age of, say, 5, and dad wants 50-50 custody or time sharing. And mom says, hell, he never spent that much time with the kid when we were married.
Right.
I did the diapers. I put the kid to bed. I fed the baby. I bathed the baby.
You're a parent in name only over here, and I'm doing all the legwork, basically.
He didn't spend an hour a day with the kid. Now he wants 50-50. What's up with that?
Right.
And the answer is, well, the court's going to give him a second chance, and moms don't want to hear that.
Well, and unfortunately, it probably gets into a case where the only way dad or mom, whoever the party is, the other party here, would get less of that is if a child abuse situation happens under their care at that point.
Yeah. So there's so there's child abuse. If there's meth, then the judge is going to do something about that. Fortunately, we don't see a whole lot of that, but sometimes there's a parent with a personality disorder.
Right, a mental health issue or something.
And that mental health issue or personality disorder, which involves actually some kind of mental abuse of the child simply because of the disorder. So it's not a, smack the kid around with your fist kind of thing, but it's more mind games with the child just because of the disorder.
Now, kind of getting back to the, because we kind of talked about sole custody here at the beginning and what that means and all that, or what you think it means. And I kind of mentioned, you talk about, unless one parent is not fit. So is the only criteria that the law looks at in terms of a parent being fit or not fit to raise the child? Is it physically, if it's either they have a drug issue or in jail or, currently wanted or criminal, are those the only, or an abuse issue? Are those the big ones, or are there other factors that can actually disqualify a parent for custody?
Yeah, those are the big ones. So if there's a parent who is basically homeless, maybe they're living in a place that
don't have amenities to support a child.
They should be red tagged.
Okay.
Some of the utilities are cut off. There's no food in the refrigerator. They don't have a steady job for more than 3 or 4 days.
That's probably a gray area, right? Because it's like, okay, well, the utilities are work. I mean, because not everybody lives in the same lifestyle of living. Is that a dirty house or is that a non-functioning house? And probably dirty's not necessarily the big factor unless it's a health and safety violation. But they don't keep house good enough is not a cause for being abusive, I'm thinking.
Well, but there's ranges of what's the definition of a dirty house. So if they don't pick up the clothes off the floor, okay, they got a messy house maybe. But if there's, dirty diapers on the floor, if there's animal feces on the floor, if there's food and pizza boxes with pizza still in them on the floor.
Stuff that can get people sick if they go in there.
Now we're saying that's not a good environment for the child.
Right.
Now you're bordering maybe they're not an evil parent, but they're just...
And that's why I was kind of delineating that, because, that's the devil's in the details on that one, because I'm sure there's going to be accusations there. Right. Oh, look, he's got this, and she's got this going on, he's got this going on. Uh-huh. And then the other side is like, no, I don't do the dishes every day, and sometimes I got a stack of dishes in there.
Well, let's say mom's a health nut, and then dad says, okay, let's go to McDonald's. And mom says, well, that's an unhealthy lifestyle. And the judge is going to say, well, it's a different lifestyle, but lifestyle choices don't make bad parents necessarily.
That's true. It's true. Opinions on how to raise the kid not necessarily qualify or disqualify you for being unfit to raise the child.
Right.
At the end of the day, you're the parent. You're responsible for raising this child. How you do that is your business. As long as it doesn't impact, negatively the child, you know?
Yeah, I had a case where Judge Romero appointed me to mediate between two divorcing parents. I think the girl was 14. And so dad had this written out time-sharing schedule. It was very good. And so I said, okay, well, let me talk to the mom. And mom says, nope, daughter didn't want it. And I'm like, okay, well, let's talk to the daughter. And so when the 14-year-old came in, I had one of my staff ladies come in too, because I'm not about to be alone in the room with a minor child.
Right.
And so I'm, young lady, your dad's written this out, and it looks very nice. It's well written. It's very fair. She says, I don't want to do it. I said, well, he's your dad. And pretty soon, man, she's bawling her eyes out.
Right.
It's like, whoa, shit. What happened?
Right.
And he had a personality disorder. And so one time they're driving to Artesia highway speed and getting into some argument, and he's driving. And he leans over her, opens her car door at 65 miles an hour and says, well, if you don't like it, get out. Yeah. And then another time.
Wow.
Yeah. And then another time, I don't know what was going on, but they were in a car, it was stopped, and some argument. And he reaches under his car seat, pulls out his pistol, and says, well, maybe I'll just shoot myself.
Jeez.
Yeah, he was out there. So I wrote up a report to the judge and said, she should only see the guy when she wants to. And the guy was just had a mental disorder.
Right.
Personality disorder.
And that's kind of where it kind of steers me into the next kind of in this world here. When we talk about the children, is there legal? I mean, each case is probably way differently, but is there legal criteria for how much say a child has in these decisions? And I mean, obviously age of the kid and all that comes into play here, but is that by judges, how much weight that carries, or is there some legal stature that judges have to follow to say, well, this is what the kid wants, by law, that's what I should. I mean, how does that come into play?
So the law says paramount is what's in the child's best interest. And then there are certain statutory considerations. The judge is supposed to consider the age of the child, how close the child is with each parent, and there's like 8 or 9 factors the court's supposed to consider in these cases. Now, at the age of 14, the child's wishes must be considered by the court, but the word is considered.
Gotcha.
Okay.
There's no legal obligation to abide by that.
The judge does not have to follow what the kid wants. Otherwise, the kids are going to be, well, Dad will give me a car if I go live with him, so I'm going to tell the judge that. So the judge is required to consider the child's wishes, but not to necessarily follow the child's wishes.
Gotcha. So it really depends on the judge how much, and this is where the judge has his or her spidey senses and kind of, all right, this looks like it. I leave them with them, it's going to be a bad situation. Maybe go, just kind of feel the room a little bit and use their skills to kind of determine what's best there.
Well, and see, some kids, I had a 12-year-old actually one time interview with the judge down in Carlsbad. Oh, I forget his name, a long time ago. And so she walks into his room and chambers, and she tells him how the cow ate the cabbage, just flat out, blah, this is what I want. And you get some kids get in there and they get nervous and they stutter or they don't tell the complete story.
And you wonder how much behind the scenes each parent is in the kid's ear, pulling them in left or right there. Yep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sure that's more common than not common in some way, shape, or form.
And some parents are that way, but again, that's one of those things that in the long term will backfire.
Absolutely.
I'd much prefer, okay, let's see how much we can agree on. The judge is going to alternate weekends. Let's agree to that. Somehow the holiday's going to be split. Let's talk about, get that done. And let's agree on as much as we can and find as little to disagree about as possible. And then go in there and say, hey, Judge, we figured all this out except this one thing. And we just need you to flip a coin and use your wisdom and spidey sense. And
sure. Be the arbiter in this one.
Yeah, but it's really, really bad to go into court and spend 3 hours throwing trash at the other parent.
Absolutely.
Because now you're stuck together the rest of your lives and you're going to have all this bad feelings. It's just not good, folks.
You get it. And this is where the part where, you as a lawyer, you kind of look like legally this is here, but, take my lawyer hat off for a minute. If you guys can, I get it. Y'all couldn't get along as a married couple. It didn't work out. We get it. But let's, it'd be one thing if it was just, the two parties here going their separate way. But because of this marriage, you've created a third of you, a part that is both of you now. And so now for the rest of your lives, you've got that thing. And 99.99999% of the time, both parties are going to go through a war for that other person. You know what I mean? Most parents are going to die for their kids.
Oh,
it's just, that's the mindset. Mm-hmm. And so if we can agree that we're willing to die for this kid, can we at least put our differences aside to say what's best for not you, not me, but our children or child? And if you do nothing in this divorce but make that decision, this will get so much easier, and you will have a much more positive outcome at the end of this. You still may not like each other, still may want to hang out, but at least you both can agree that the priority one is the children that marriage created.
Absolutely.
If the marriage was south, but there's still a chance for the best thing that came from it to thrive, flourish, and have an amazing life. And it all will start on how you two can work together.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, that's soup to nuts. I mean, we get all philosophical, but that's just the plain God is honest truth. If you can figure this out, it will go better for you. If you let people with degrees and robes make all those decisions, you're going to have animosity. You're going to have, and I guarantee you'll probably have the rest of your life dealing with dusts ups and tussles and various sticky situations because no one can put their differences aside and just agree for a minute.
Yeah.
Or work on it for a minute.
Yeah. So if people learn how to make agreements, then the situation is now something that they've had input and had decision making on, and people tend to feel better about that. But if the guy in the black robe is making the decision, now that's something that is imposed upon people, and very rarely are people happy with that kind of stuff.
And to be honest, they make decisions that are a lot harder to undo if it's not the right decision.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If the judge didn't get it right, because let's face it, the judge isn't in your home 24/7 and doesn't know every single aspect of your life. That's impossible.
Yeah,
and so
that's right.
The only one that does are the parties involved. So let's have the people at the end of the day with the best information to resolve this. If that makes sense.
That's the parents themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, any other real things we want to cover? We got a few more minutes here.
Okay. So I'll give almost every single person what's called the custodial parent speech. And that is their job to have communication going from the child to the other parent, even if the other parent doesn't reciprocate. So that means, you have the child send the other parent a Happy New Year card, have Daddy Be My Valentine card. There's Mother's Day, Father's Day. Oh, but he already has the kid on Father's Day. So what? Get a card. Birthdays. When school starts, take a picture of the schedule and send it to the other parent.
Yeah.
The kid brings home a good test grade, take a picture, send it to the other parent. Thanksgiving card, Christmas card, a little $10, $15 gift card, something like that. It's your job to make sure the kid's information is flowing to the other parent, whether the other parent reciprocates or not. That
Absolutely.
is the job. I had lunch with my judge buddy, and he asked how often I give the custodial parent speech, and I said, well, just about 100% of the time, but I'm sure I miss it every once in a while, but I try to give it to everyone. He says, wow, I wish everybody'd do that. Because you're supposed to do that.
Well, and this is, getting personal, this is what I know about you, Matt Bristol, the man, is that you're a lawyer, and yes, you do your legal thing, but you're also that one that knows I'm dealing with human beings, I'm dealing with personalities, I'm dealing with things that go beyond the law sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, and folks, if you ever need a lawyer for extended period of time, these are the kind of things you need to research when you're picking your attorney. What's their, quote unquote bedside manner, so to speak, on this one. And that's where, Matt, in your experience, has told you, it's like, look, I'll do what you want legally here, but listen to me on this. You don't want to do it the way you want to do it because it's not going to end the way you want to do it.
Yeah.
And that's, and not a lot of lawyers will always do the best things for you if it's just, it's not all lawyers are always on your corner, as you're saying.
Yeah, they don't always take that extra step, but we certainly try to.
Yeah, and that's, so, please, just, personal note, with all from the legal sage advice, when you get in these situations, you're going to want people that have compassion, care, and understanding. And I can tell you just from my personal knowledge of conversations with Matt and in my own personal dealings with Matt on things, he's that guy that will be the guy that cares and stuff. So, God forbid, I hope you never need Matt. But if you do, Matt is going to be a good guy to be in your corner when those times hit.
Well, hopefully nothing ever goes south for folks.
Absolutely here. So pay attention to that kind of stuff. It's divorce is such an ugly thing. It is so, because at the end of the day, not all parties walk away completely happy. On the surface maybe, but deep down, it is a signification of something that failed. And that's never a good thing. So
it's very seldom a good thing, and everybody's standard of living goes down because now you're supporting two households instead of one, and so it's.
And for the love of God, even if you hate that spouse, like Matt was talking about, send the cards, send the thing. The way you feel about your spouse and the way you communicate that to your children will greatly impact your children's opinions of your spouse / their other parent.
Yep.
It just does. Even so, even when you're the most frustrated at your ex-spouse here, wait till the kid leaves the room before you kind of vent your frustration here, because you don't want to create that relationship. You want your kid to have a good relationship with all your parents.
Right.
It's just don't let your hang-ups translate to your kid. Don't let it happen.
Yeah, and send it, you have the kid sign the card and send it to the other parent. And I tell people, keep copies of this stuff, because maybe the kid's 8 or 9 now, signing cards and letters, and then they become a snotty little teenager and says, "You never let me see my dad." And so you can trot out the scrapbook of, "Oh yeah, well look at all these cards and letters I had you send."
Yeah.
And then, remember when you fought me on this one, and remember when you didn't want to sign this one, and I was always trying to be positive, so don't be a snotty little teenager.
That is the most lawyer answer, because emotionally it's there, but it's all evidence based. So you're like, here's the evidence.
Yeah, well, sometimes kids need that reminder.
Absolutely. A lot of adults do too. But it's.
And I tell folks, when you're doing that, do it for the grandparents on both sides.
Absolutely.
Happy Easter cards to the grandparents or whatever. And it's just good karma.
It's just one of those things. Once kids enter the equation, it's a for life situation. Yep. You're dealing with that person the rest of your life. Hopefully, stay married and it's a good thing, but know when it ends, if there's kids in the relationship, you're just going to have those relationships. You're going to have to be a good parent, which at this point, that's all you got here in this situation. It's like, the marriage didn't work. I'm not a good spouse anymore. At least be a good parent.
Exactly.
And that's how you do that. So
Exactly.
We got time for a little factor.
Fiction and fact.
Yes.
Matt's Almanac. So in Roman times, there were marble sellers just like there are today. In fact, the funny thing is, one of my grandfathers was from Greece, and he didn't talk about the old country much, but we talked to his brother, his Uncle Harry. "Uncle Harry, what was it like in the old country?" He says, "In the kitchen, we had marble. In the bathroom, we had marble. Everything was marble." He says, "We couldn't afford wood."
Perspective.
Yeah. So in ancient Rome, there were marble sellers, and sometimes if there were imperfections in the marble, they'd coat it with like beeswax, some kind of wax would hide the imperfections. So the word for wax was cero. If you know anything about Spanish, if something is with something, that's con.
Yes.
Chili con carne, chili con queso. Without means, the word for without is sin.
Okay. I was like, I took 3 years of Spanish, but I don't remember that one.
S-I-N.
Gotcha.
Sin means without. So, because, these dealers would use this wax to hide defects, that wouldn't, considered a really good polite thing. But if it was the real deal marble, it was really high quality and there weren't any defects, it was sold without wax. So the word wax is cero, without means sin. So that's where we get the word sincero, sincere.
Interesting.
It's the sincere deal. It's the real
because
deal.
the marble is flawless, and that's what it's from.
It didn't have any wax. So, and 2,000 years later, we're using the same word. It's just amazing to me.
That is cool. It is cool how the evolution of some of this evolves over time, and even back to your point about perspective. It's like wood was too expensive. That's why everything was in marble.
Yeah,
and it's
we have to ask Uncle Harry, well, what did you eat? And he says, we had pheasant, we had lobster. It was whatever we could catch.
It's all gourmet now.
Yeah, all gourmet now.
It is. It's just it's an interesting thing. Now, if you need if you're going through any kind of family issues, or if you want to, maybe it's time to make a will or do some of these type of financial securing of your family for the future type
give us a call.
Legal stuff. Yeah. Matt Bristol and his office can help you. If you go to bristollaw.net.
Right, bristolawoffice.net.
Net. I knew it changed over. bristoloffice.net. You can go there. You can kind of read all about the different services, types of law that Matt can help you with. And of course, you can set up a free consultation to sit down and talk your case, and Matt can hear your story, and he can tell you from there, you know what, you need a lawyer, let's get this thing going. Or you know what, if you go down to the office and file this form, you're good to go.
Right.
You know, whether it's a 5-minute fix or something that requires him to roll up his sleeves and help you out, he can tell you and do all that.
And there are probate court forms and some district court forms that are fill in the blank forms, and we help people fill those out all the time. You know, lawyers can be expensive. And so for a consultation fee, people bring in those forms, we tell them how to fill it out, and they rock and roll.
It's very affordable, and it'll save you a whole mountain of headache. Because trust me, you know, these things can get wordy, you know, by design sometimes, and it helps to have someone to navigate you through that.
Yeah, and I've had people say, well, thank you so much. They tried to make an appointment somewhere else, and they were told, we don't fill out forms. You have to hire us.
Well, and that's when you get into the legal world, some people kind of look at their time as I'm beneath you and things like that, and it does get into that world. And it gets back to that comment I made earlier about people that care, and that's that, you know, just a track record of just seeing Matt helping people after people doing his thing.
Well,
you know, and
thanks. We enjoy it.
Yeah, you know, it's sure everybody makes the money on the big case and everything, but your placard hangs out in front of your building because you service everybody and make all of your customers happy, and
we try.
You get that'll keep hanging if you keep doing that. Matt gets that.
So give us a call at 575-625-5284, and let's see, probably February 12th, I think, is the next second Monday of the month. We'll be back.
Sounds good. I think I've met my quota on illnesses and things, so I should have enough antibodies to lick like a dumpster or something. Yeah, it should be pretty good.
Exactly.
We'll see.
Take care of that voice, Mike.
Will do. And thank you, Matt. Take care. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Enjoy. He's got a little time coming up to go see and do some fun stuff. So enjoy that. We'll see you.
Thank you. Sure will.
We'll have to hear a little about it when you get back.
All righty.
Awesome. All right, 7:58. Let's do a quick break before news. Don't go away. You're listening.
That's the bottom line of the Conference Board's closely watched Consumer Confidence Index. And watching Wall Street, stocks in the red so far this morning. The Dow down 33 points, while the NASDAQ is off 62. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
A Pakistani court has convicted former Prime Minister Imran Khan of revealing official secrets, sentencing him to 10 years in prison.
The court ruling is the latest in a slew of cases that supporters say are meant to sideline the imprisoned former cricket star. Just days ahead of parliamentary elections, the Islamist politician was ousted in a no-confidence vote in 2022. He's not on the ballot because he's already serving a 3-month prison term, and more than 150 other cases are still pending against him. He nonetheless remains a potent political force because of his grassroots following and anti-establishment rhetoric. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
Japanese transport officials have raided a Toyota-affiliated plant, searching for evidence after the company admitted cheating on engine testing. Japanese automaker reporting it kept its status as the world's top automaker in 2023. Breaking news and analysis, townhall.com. Authorities call this guy a major league swatter.
A Washington state man who made more than 20 swatting calls around the country, prompting emergency responses to fake reports of bombs and shootings, has now pleaded guilty to 4 crimes. 21-year-old Ashton Garcia making the pleas on 2 counts of extortion and 2 counts of threats and hoaxes. regarding explosive materials. Federal prosecutors say Garcia used voice-over internet technology to conceal his identity during those calls in 2022 and 23. Jason Walker reporting.
San Bernardino County Sheriff's officials say the 6 men found shot to death last week in the Southern California desert were likely shot in a dispute over drugs, and specifically marijuana. 5 suspects are under arrest. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3 of Mornings with Mike Winters right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Tuesday.
Yes.
Hope your Tuesday's going well. Weather's nice.
The truest of all the days. Beautiful blue skies.
It is.
It's going to be warm out today and pretty much the rest of the week.
It kind of a precursor to spring out there a little bit.
Precursor.
It's spring now. Enjoy it.
Yeah. For this week and then next, we'll get a good freeze.
Yeah, and then we'll get winter one more time and then full on summer. That's the reality.
We'll skip over spring.
Yeah, it's right now. You're in it. This is our spring.
Somebody once, a friend of mine who lives in California, was like, yeah, I hate when people are like, I like seasons. They're like, yeah, I do too. That's why I moved to a place that avoids all the crappy ones.
Except for sometimes. There we go. Sorry. Right. Except sometimes we get the bad weather and we just don't know what to do with it.
Right.
Like, the one day it rains, one day it snows. Everybody loses their irrelevant mind around it. And
although it was pretty interesting to see the because I've always heard the comment made, there's no salters and scrapers and snow plows in southeastern New Mexico, but now there are some.
Sanders, at least. I don't know if they use salt.
Well,
Sanders.
we recently saw a story where several snow plows,
a dozen of them or
for
something,
the state, were relocated to different areas and then named creatively based on where they were moved.
Yeah,
there was I think what was it like?
Snowmageddon,
Walter Plight, or something like that.
Yeah, there's a couple Better Call Saul references.
Yeah, Better Call Saul
or Breaking Bad references. Yeah,
I like the. There was one. I think it was like either ours or the one in the Clovis area. It was like I snow, huh?
Yeah, Snowzobra, I think.
Yeah, Snowzobra. Yeah,
but yeah, they're plows and I think Sanders.
Yeah.
I don't think they use salt.
They don't. Yeah, salt is real damaging. It ain't great.
Yeah, but it works way better.
Oh, it certainly does. Yeah, there's a reason.
That's why the roads are clear in New York and things like that, and not here.
And that's why the bottom half of everybody's car is rusted out.
That's why you get the undercarriage, the undercoat protection or whatever it is they try to sell you.
Cheap seal it.
Which I'm sure is hokum too, but you know,
probably
makes you feel better. So whatever you got to do, but and I remember back growing up, you know, older cars and things, and you see the rust because of all that salt back east and all that. Something different you don't see on cars there as much as you do here is the sun fade.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
You know,
the cracking
you get cars here that
hood.
the paint's fading on the roof or the hood. because of the New Mexico sun. You don't have
and
that
that
as
clear
an
coat's
issue.
worn off.
Yeah, you don't have that as an issue in
That
Maryland.
was the weirdest thing. So like when like the rise of the smart car was like really like popular and they were kind of all over the place. I was seeing them and they were, beautiful, vibrant colors. I really like the brightness of them. I saw one recently and it looked like a 30-year-old Geo Metro.
Yeah.
Like the way it was like, it was a red one, but it was like faded into like salmon pink. And it was, it's like, I don't know if
So
there's
is it like an early generation hybrid maybe?
Yes. I don't know if they don't clear coat it or what, but it faded quick.
Wow.
I'm like, for being a new car, that thing is faded. Unless you were going for
I was going to say
salmon.
maybe they like that and that's what they wanted, but some people are like that.
Mhm.
People's tastes are different.
It is. Yeah, they are.
And I don't get it sometimes, I get certain looks like speaking of cars, staying in that, I used to watch the Gas Monkey guys when they were on pretty regular. I don't think they are anymore. Maybe here and there they show up, but
sometimes.
But when they were on like a regular time and would be on all the time, I'd watch it pretty regular. And they would do that a lot where they take vintage vehicles and fix them up, but kind of leave them.
Leave the patina,
Yeah, sometimes it would look good.
Yeah.
Sometimes I would like, no, why would you, why do you want to seal the rust in?
There's no reason that a front seat should have you should have a front rumble seat or a bench seat. That's not necessary. Give me bucket seats.
Yeah, and they were so all over the place because they'd literally work on a 50s Ford, and then they're working on a modern Ferrari, and you're like, they're not the same vehicles to work on.
What I loved, and I was a religious watcher of this, Pimp My Ride.
Oh yeah, I remember that show.
I loved Pimp because it was so ridiculous. The thing, hey, I heard you like popcorn, so we put a popcorn maker in the back
and
of
that's
your
just
car.
it. Yeah, literally none of the gadgets they pimp the rides out with are useful more than like once.
And what's fantastic about it is if you go back now and you like look up some of the stories, like these cars are undrivable and unresellable because nobody wants a nonsense car with a cotton candy maker in the trunk.
Well, not to mention it probably goes through a battery. You know what I mean? You start the car and it got all the juice got sucked down because of the 80 DVD players and
and that's the other thing is now you've got
disco ball that's in there.
DVD players and like the 20-year-old LCD screens in the back headrest of your car. It's just like, it'd be kind of like driving like Nickelodeon from the 90s now.
In all fairness, though, they weren't fixing up cars that were nice.
No, they were not.
Everything was high school kids hoopties.
It was all hoopties. And that's the thing is the most of what people would say is they didn't fix any of the technical problems. Like they didn't fix any of the engine issues.
Yeah, car still runs like garbage, but it's got a.
It runs even worse because now it's like 3,000 pounds heavier.
Yeah. But it was
you
cool
put
to
in
look
a bowling
at.
alley.
It was good to look at. You're sitting on the side of the highway, broke down. You look good.
You're just sitting there, just sad, holding a help sign, going, "I've been pimped."
I got popcorn.
Anybody want to watch a movie and help me change a tire?
Well, till the battery runs out. We can maybe a 30-minute show, but we ain't got time for no hour show.
But all I can see, like when I think about those cars today, is like you ever like walked by a bass boat that's a little old and it's starting to like peel on the side. Like that's what all those cars look like today.
To me,
is just peeling paint.
I would go to the comparison of the van of the 80s when not the minivan.
I was like the mural van.
The mural vans with the round window, and and it had the mural of the Rocky Mountains or the Grand Canyon or Jesus or something on the side.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes all three.
And wall-to-wall shag carpeting inside and out. Yeah, those are the ones that at one time those were pimp.
Yeah.
Now, not so much.
No.
Shag carpet just doesn't hold up.
I do got to say, I am still a sucker for a reconstituted or reconstructed school bus. Like I see them every now and again around town, like the dudes that are like, it's like the electric school bus, you know, like they have it all painted all psychedelic and stuff. And they have a thing in the back for their generator.
You think they're the Partridge Family, but it's really just a bunch of, because I grew up with the Partridge Family.
Yeah, but I mean, if you think about it, if you take out those seats, you got some space in there. You could put in some stuff. I mean,
they are handy.
Yeah,
but I feel like they're the official vehicle of a cult member.
Oh, 100%. Especially if you paint the outside.
Right.
If you do anything to the outside, chances are you're going to have women dancing around in a circle in the forest.
Yeah, if you own and drive a school bus and you're not a school bus driver or a church bus driver, you're probably in a cult. Just saying. It's just odds are good.
They have really brought down the name of those who wear wire rimmed glasses.
Yeah. If you got a short school bus,
oh yeah,
straight up cult. Straight cult.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about if you drive it for the church. I'm talking if you own one and it sits at your house and you use it.
Right. Still, though, I mean, it's nice dreams to have.
It is.
I dream modest, I like to try to make my dreams semi-attainable. I hope someday I get to own a school bus.
There you go. So if you don't set the bar high,
that's right.
Never disappointed.
Aim so low that some people don't even know if you made it in the first place.
Vince Vaughn taught us nothing. That set the bar low. That way you're never disappointed. So.
God bless you, St. Vincent.
St. Vince Vaughn. Lori Schatz is here with the Roswell Community Theater. They got a big weekend coming up here. Johnny Cash, a portrait of Johnny Cash this Saturday afternoon and evening. 2 shows at the Roswell Community Theater. We will talk with Lori here and talk about ticket availability and encourage you to get your tickets for this weekend. It's going to be a good show.
Is this, I always forget the word.
Chautauqua?
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, that is, I love that you know that word. But yeah,
that is a word.
It is a Chautauqua.
Yes. Yes. He, the man that plays Johnny Cash, lives, breathes, eats, sleeps, is Johnny Cash.
He's
when
method.
He's on stage. Yes. Like Daniel Day-Lewis.
Just pops a bunch of painkillers before he goes out on stage.
Yeah. Just like Daniel Day-Lewis and who's the other method actors that are famous?
Willem Dafoe is known to do it. What's his doggone it, I just forgot his name. Franco is James Franco. But what's the older guy?
De Niro?
No. James that's gonna drive me nuts. There's a guy who it was a famous episode of The Simpsons. He came because he had to play a part of a
James Woods?
James Woods, thank you.
Yeah.
James Woods had to play a part of a convenience store worker, so he came and shadowed Apu for like ever, and he ended up losing his mind and went full method.
Well, in all fairness, when's the last William Dafoe, James Franco, or James Woods movie that's been any good?
All right, look, I'm not here to defend them. I'm just here to say that's their method, all right?
And quite frankly, Daniel Day-Lewis, every movie he puts out is good, but what's he done since Lincoln?
Well, it's good, but it's also like 16 hours long.
Yeah. Although, my favorite movie of his, and still probably my top 10 favorite movies of all time, Last of the Mohicans. Love that movie. Love that. I know it's drawn out, but the music, everything, I'm ready to... The end where they have the big fight and he does the roll with the blue battle axe thing and I'm ready to run through a wall after that scene with the music and they're running and he's trying to save her at the last minute. And spoiler
if you haven't already, you're probably not gonna.
Yeah, but it's a good movie. I love it. That's one of my favorite.
I always mix up Last of the Mohicans and Dances with Wolves. Like those are the two that like it was the same era, same.
Yeah,
like,
but they're two way different. Stories.
I know, 100%. It's kind of like how I confuse Volcano with Dante's Inferno.
Yeah,
like
and actually they're not two different eras. One is pre-Revolutionary War, French and Indian War. The other is 1870s.
Right.
So they're about 100 years apart. Yeah. But, but yes, I get what you're saying. They're both old. And they deal with Native Americans and settlers and Western people and whatnot. So, yes. But, the French and Indian Wars, Last of the Mohicans. So,
yeah.
Which, predates the Revolutionary War. In case you haven't picked up a history book in the last decade or so.
No, I haven't.
Yes. All right.
I actively avoid them.
It is 9:18. Let's get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We have a long stretch of pretty nice conditions coming up over the next few days. Our next system may bring us a few showers by Friday, but pretty fair in between now and then. Mid-60s on our high today, and we get sunshine. Upper 30s and a few clouds drifting through for the overnight hours. We're looking at upper 60s for the high on Wednesday, low 70s Thursday, and sunny. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. My weather didn't refresh. Let me hit it. I hit refresh, but didn't refresh it. There's a little fresher. Currently 42 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 58% with winds out of the north at 6 miles per hour. Mostly sunny today and nice. 67 for a high. Winds will be out of the north at around 5 miles per hour. Tonight, partly cloudy. Expect an overnight low of 37 degrees. Southeast winds at around 5 miles per hour. Wednesday, much like today, partly cloudy. Expect a high of 67. Winds will be out of the northwest, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Thursday, we're expected to hit the 70s, mostly sunny and 72. Southwest winds 5 to 10. Friday, slight chance of rain, 20% chance of showers afternoon. Partly cloudy with a high of 64. Supposed to be breezy that day too, but they kind of back off on that. But Saturday, 59 and windy. Sunday, 63 and breezy. So not too bad, but could see a little wind there for the weekend. All right, it is 20 minutes after 9. We're going to take a 3-minute break, and then Lori Schatz with the Roswell Communal Theater will join us, talk about Johnny Cash. Don't go away.
Garlic has been around for thousands of years and is one of the world's favorite seasonings. Without garlic, most of our food would be dull and boring, kind of like watching C-SPAN. Hi, this is Jim Gill from Roswell Seed Company. If you like to cook and like to grow things, you ought to try growing your own garlic. Come by Roswell Seed Company and we'll show you how. And next August, you'll have fresh, homegrown garlic to make your food taste great and keep the vampires away.
We can all use help strengthening our marriage to build this house. Church on the Move invites you to the Joy of Marriage Conference, a 3-day event for married couples. Hear speakers Pastor Troy and Julie Smotherman, American Idol finalist Danny Goki and his wife Leah Sett, as well as Willie and Rachel Scott, founders of Better Than Blended. February 15th through the 17th at Church on the Move in Roswell. Seats are limited. Visit cotmroswell.com or call the church office 575-622-7011.
At Artesia General Hospital, our board-certified podiatrists are committed to providing personalized care in a welcoming environment. Dr. Jennifer Chow and Dr. Michael Krupa offer the latest surgical techniques and treat a range of conditions including arthritis, bunions, joint care, and more. If you're suffering from foot, ankle, or lower leg pain, we can help. Visit artesiageneral.com/foot care to request an appointment and begin your journey toward happier, healthier feet.
Edge Safety and Services, LLC in Artesia, New Mexico has an immediate opening for roustabout crew and a safety technician. Position requires a clean driving record and must be able to pass a drug and alcohol screening. Edge Safety offers great pay with IRA benefits and employer contribution towards health benefits. Please email resumes to edgecoding@yahoo.com or apply in person at 2801 North Freeman in Artesia. Edge Safety and Services is an equal opportunity employer.
Innovation, service, integrity, and knowledge. J.S. Ward & Son Insurance Agency. Auto and home, life and health, personal and commercial. Bonds too, since 1925. We have the coverage for you. Innovation, service, integrity, and knowledge. J.S. Ward & Son Insurance Agency.
Start the new year off in style and treat yourself and your family to brand new boots during the store-wide January clearance sale happening now at Chero's Boots in Roswell. New arrivals are on the way, and Chero's needs to make room. That means big savings for you. Through the end of the month, find top quality boots starting at just $80. Top quality leathers and exotics for men, women, and the kids too. Made by craftsmen in Mexico. Check out the great selection of accessories too. Don't miss the store-wide January clearance sale happening now at Chero's Boots, 501 South Main, just north of J&G Electric in Roswell.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The Goodyear Rubber Company researched and concluded that shoes wear out faster on the right foot than on the left. To fix this, just walk backwards for half the day. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 23 minutes after 9 o'clock. And joining us in studio this morning, wearing her Roswell Community Little Theater hat today, Lady of Many Hats, Lori Schatz back with us. Good morning. How are you doing today?
Good morning. Good.
Good. Well, you don't look crazy frazzled. The hair's not over, so I guess things are lining up good for this weekend.
Yes and no. We still have seats, obviously, but the tickets are coming in. Of course, I appreciate being on your show to get the word out, and we are doing half of it at least as a fundraiser. And
Yes.
I know more about her now this week. So that's a good thing. That just happened last week when I had seen you. And unfortunately, Aletha isn't feeling well today. So that's why
Well, I hope she'll be good for the weekend for the show.
I need her to be there for the show.
Yeah.
So I was like, got it. I'll handle it.
Is she still the president of the board?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so she's kind of got a busy role there. So.
Oh, yeah. And so if you go online and get tickets for the Johnny Cash show, which is this Saturday, and there is a 2 and a 6.
Yep, and there's both VIP and general admission available still.
And general admission still means it's seated.
Yes.
It's just where you're seated.
The only difference is that, you'll get, and this is arguable too, because every seat's a good seat in that.
Mhm.
But you'll get choice seating. But you also, at intermission, you get to go and indulge in nosh on some food and wine. Plus, you get to meet the artist before the show. So and that all of that is just $10 more for the ticket.
Right.
So you might as well pony up the extra $10 and enjoy some drinks and food and get a chance to meet and get a little bit better seating. And
Right.
Especially if you're trying to make it a date weekend to kind of wine and dine your spouse or your date. It looks a little better when in the middle you can get a thing of wine where you're saying, no, you're not allowed in there.
Right.
You got to sit.
You're banned.
So for $10 more, you can look like a baller. And again, it goes back to helping the community little theater.
Correct.
It goes back to helping the lady that you personally have kind of made a mission to support on this one, whose family's dealing with cancer. And unfortunately, she lives in Eddy County. So So the Chaves County Cancer Fund is not available to her. So lines don't mean needs not there. So you said, you know what? I'm gonna forego my
any proceeds
part
that
of
I
this,
get,
and I'm
it's
going to give it to that
towards
family.
her.
So if you'd like to donate a little extra towards that, if you're there at the on Saturday,
I'll have tons of information for you.
and there'll be a concession booth there, and you can go up and say, hey, I heard, can I slip an extra $20 or whatever to this family?
She wrote a book for children between the ages of 8 and 12. I'll have information on how you can go on Amazon and get the book, and she gets, some of that.
She's a young lady in her 30s that's dealing
35 years old.
with stage 4 cancer.
Colon cancer.
And I knew it was intestinal. I couldn't remember exactly
and it
where.
is metastasized in her lungs and her intestines.
I wonder if it's, I know just enough to be dangerous when it comes to this. There's generally 2 types of colon cancer. There's the less aggressive, slower one, which is what Steve Jobs had. He just didn't follow the doctor's advice because that's very curable. And I'm guessing because of her age and what we're dealing with, it's probably this one. There is a much more aggressive, less warning version of this. And regardless, in their 30s is really too young to be even thinking about this stuff. But I'm going to guess, just based off the circumstances, she probably has the more aggressive
That's what
version.
I would guess too.
Yeah.
She was diagnosed around the 23rd of December.
Okay.
She had symptoms or had a stomach that was upset.
Probably had
and
some
was really
pain or
hard,
something,
and
yeah.
So she went, and that's what she found out. She has 3 children, and 8, 12, and 14, I believe. Oliver is one of her children. She's known in Artesia as Oliver's mom. And he has a rare brain disease that he was born with. So he is completely dependent on her or her husband, Lance, for everything.
God did not give her the best deck of cards to start with this game with,
But he is
did
such a
she?
joyful child. And I will give you this information a little later on. But she has, friends of hers have made a GoFundMe page. And they've also made Meet the Swearingens page. It's a web page that gives you a lot about her. Not only is there GoFundMe and that I'm going to give her proceeds, but there's also an account at First American Bank. And also in Phoenix, where she is at, it starts with an E. ENVITA. Invita. It's groundbreaking cancer treatment. It's different than your normal. It's not covered by their insurance. You can call them directly, and they give you the number on the website and contribute specifically for her bills to be paid.
Okay.
So there's many different ways you can help this family.
And I would imagine if you and your family's dealing with some cancer and having some stuff and maybe looking for some alternate ways to find a solution, maybe a call to Invita might be good for you.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
The name of her book is The Wonderful Ordinary Adventure of Part and Bell, is what it's called.
Can you still get copies of the book?
Still can get copies on Amazon.
Get some
like
for your
I
family.
said, she does get a little kickback.
That's a great way to support is support her day job.
Or come to the concert.
Come to the concert or do both.
Or do both. Or do it all. If you go to GoFundMe, you just put her name in, put Swearinger, she'll pop right up and you'll get the whole story.
Well, and that's just it. I guarantee it's going to be the easiest afternoon or evening or both, depending on, if you go to both shows, of you helping multiple organizations and people by coming and watching and enjoying a concert, perhaps having a glass of wine and noshing on some food here.
And her family's actually going to be there.
Good.
Her in-laws are coming. They purchased tickets. Thank you.
Good.
And her husband and 3 children, all 3 are coming. And of course, I've comped their tickets. I guess she is going to be in Phoenix for the next 3 months,
Under
finishing
treatment, doing her treatment.
So she won't be back for 3
So I
months.
imagine the family, they're probably doing the road trip back and forth every week.
Mhm.
And
Lance is a farmer.
Well, so they've got their lives, their day job. The kids have school. Life goes on, so they've got to do those things. But I'm sure they want to spend as much time with mom as possible,
Right.
Or wife as possible here.
And then I did talk to Scott, who is AKA Johnny Cash. I will let you know that if you came to see the John Denver show, you got to see a little bit of Ted in there as well. Like his personality came out and he would talk about John Denver. Scott takes a different approach. He becomes Johnny Cash, speaks as Johnny Cash, and does the songs of Johnny Cash. So it's like he just does, like you were talking to Sean earlier, how he just lives and breathes, and that's exactly what he does. That's
so
his
I
show,
imagine
too.
at the meet and greet, when you ask him questions and talk to him, he'll probably talk to you as Johnny Cash.
I'm not sure. That's a good question. That might be a little creepy. I don't know. I have to ask him. I have to say, so when you come out at the end in the lobby, because he will come out for everyone at the end.
Good.
The VIP get the first
Special
glimpse.
one-on-one,
That
yeah.
one he may be, because he may be in the zone.
Yeah, I was saying it's right before the show.
It's like you said, method actor.
I imagine there is a routine or series that he does before every show to get prepared.
Right.
And
so he may come out as Johnny Cash to the VIP people before the show. And VIP, the room does open at 1:30. You don't have to be seated till 2.
So do a little pre-gaming.
Yeah, do a little pre-gaming. And then if you're getting general admission, again, they are assigned seats, unlike the other shows that they have there.
Yes,
they're assigned seats. And you can come at 1:30 as well, but 1:45 is just as good.
Yeah, come and mingle. Come, like I said, if you want to come a little bit early, meet the family, and perhaps mingle and hang out in the lobby a little bit and support the communal theater.
They're still looking to pay for that roof.
Yeah.
It's on, so that's the good thing.
Yeah.
You no longer have to sit with a cup in your hand if it rains.
So if they don't pay, do they come take it back? I don't know how. Do they repossess a roof if you don't pay?
I'm not sure. That's why we need Alicia here, right?
Yeah, they'll take a car. I don't know about a roof.
That would be interesting, right?
But either way, we need to, and that's what I love is the communal theater. They really do everything on their own. They kind of, of course, for years they've had their facility. Of course, they used to be there behind Roswell Ford for such a long time. And here about 10, 12 years ago, when Allen Theaters combined all their movies to the mall theater there,
right,
and the Park Twin shut down, they turned around and picked that up and gave it a new life. Because quite frankly, I don't know, like the Del Norte twin is now the China King Buffet. That was the Del Norte, but they spent years, if I remember right, remodeling that building to turn it from a movie theater to a restaurant. Because, it had sloped floors, the whole nine.
Oh, wow.
And so it was quite an undertaking. So when the Park Twin came up, kind of in the same scenario, it's a movie theater. It was built as a movie theater.
And I know they're really looking forward to, do you remember how much Alethea said that it's are they halfway there, I think?
Something like that,
But their next step, I believe, the last members meeting I was at, it was that they're going to upgrade the lobby. Will be the next one. They did get a grant for doors, right? So the doors that were bleeding in with the heat in the summer now are just an exit door, emergency exit door, and you can't see through them. And So that's all good. So they have started a little bit of that, but that's where their next big push effort is going to be, is for that lobby. So.
Sure. And I know at some point they want to upgrade sound and lighting.
Well, yes, that's been something on the docket for 2 or 3 years. So, and it doesn't have to be new. So if you have used equipment and you want to donate, or maybe get a hold of them or me, and I will let them know. They're just looking for, they need lighting and they need sound equipment.
Sure.
So,
And just from my job in radio and technology, that equipment becomes obsolete quickly. And what I mean by that is the technology is constantly evolving on sound and lighting. They find ways to do it easier, quicker, better, less wires, more Bluetooth, or less things you have to run through walls and all that kind of stuff. However, and so I think some of their sound equipment's not that old. Like they did remodel it since it was a movie theater, but in 10 or 12 years, a lot has changed in that. So what they're using is archaic compared to what they do nowadays.
We hire a professional technician to come in for the shows, and he brings all the equipment with him. So I know a lot of people have said, we've done the John Denver, and we did the Swearinger, who did Simon and Garfunkel. Are we ever going to have like a band, like a tribute band? Yeah. But right now, the little theater,
it's got to be more amenable to that.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't lend itself to that.
You need more than a stage and a curtain to do that. You need sound and lighting.
Look behind the curtain.
And quite frankly, how you mic and sound a live play is not the same as how you mic and sound a band.
So they have a lot of the headset stuff for the actors that come in, but that is not what you can do for even Johnny Cash.
Right.
So when I get the contract for any professional act, they have we need this or we can't come.
Right.
And I take it to my professional tech and say, hey, is this doable? Can we rent it if you don't have it? Do you have it? I have him down to like a stool that he wants to sit on. I have the stool at home. I'll bring that part. He wants
green M&Ms.
3 bottles of water and a towel. It's like, I can do that too. But some of the the DI boxes and all that kind of thing, that has to come.
I've got to ask you, because you've been doing these kind of things for a long time.
Yeah.
I've just triggered that question. What's been the weirdest rider request like that you've ever gotten? I mean, you always hear in movies and stuff about the green M&Ms and all that. Did you ever get something that off the wall?
The green M&Ms are because they wanted to make sure that you read the rider.
You were listening and all that, yeah.
So 2 stories quickly is Terry Clark. I don't know if anyone read the rider. I came in 2 weeks before she came in Artesia, and there was a lot.
It was pretty convoluted.
And instead of... Like, I always negotiate. I'm Scottish, so it's like,
It's like, come on, this is ridiculous here.
Right? Exactly. And that's what it was. Like, we had a lunch that was catered by Adobe Rose. Well, no one came to it. We had, after the breakdown gets 12 pizzas. No one was there. But I didn't have any control.
Stuff, you better use it. Yeah.
Right. I had no control over that contract.
Right.
So that was a lot of, just dollars to me. Ching, 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 going away.
Yeah.
Some of it ended up in my refrigerator, but...
I ate a lot of pizza that week.
That's right. I would say, and I don't think they're like this anymore because they do their concerts a little differently, but the Glenn Miller Orchestra, isn't that they wanted, like, are you going to read this rider? There's so many people in that orchestra, the dietary requirements.
Sure.
There were, I know keto, paleo, all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
Vegan, vegetarian. There were words I didn't know. I had to look up and say, what does this person even eat if they're that? Right?
Is that like a pill diet? What is that?
No. A lick of lettuce and a cup of steam? Like, what is this?
They only eat green things on Wednesdays.
Yeah. What? So that was the most interesting, because a lot of them do have in their rider that they get a meal.
Sure.
Plus,
I would imagine, especially with the Glenn Miller Orchestra, those are probably a little bit older folks that are, they're not as many 20-somethings in that group.
Well, a lot of kids come out of college with a degree in trumpet.
Okay, and so they
end up.
That's where they start.
Glenn Miller Orchestra, Tommy Dorsey.
Okay.
But what Glenn Miller now is doing, which is not our concert, but is they'll send maybe 5 musicians and the lead guy, and you fill in with locals.
Oh, okay.
Since COVID, they used to have a bus. You used to have to pay a gas tax.
Oh,
it was
wow.
all this.
So you really had to pay for every aspect of
unless you read it and said, I'm not doing that. Are you still coming?
Well, and
do you still want me to sign this?
And to be honest,
So-
it behooves of them to do it. Not even so much to see if you're reading the writer, but if they can get it for free,
why not?
Why not? You
Right.
know? And
Why
so-
not? And they're going to get paid the same whether there's 20 people in the audience or
Exactly.
200 in the audience,
Yeah.
right? So, anyway,
And that's
those
not
are
the
my
case with you.
No. I've read everything, and I'd be like, you need to have a Gibson speaker, really?
Yeah.
Like we have this kind of speaker. Oh, they'll do. I
Right.
mean, 9 times out of 10, they're okay with it. But you have to, because when they get there and you don't have it, then
Sure.
they have an argument.
I would
So-
imagine certain like pianists. Like
Oh, yeah.
they're probably very
Has to be
particular on the
tuned to,
patin, a Steinway this or whatever
Mhm.
it is, and that's why places like the Ocotillo and, for that matter, the Anderson Museum
yeah.
have those over-the-top, priceless pianos
Yes.
that are
And it's sad when you have
available.
an upright and you spend all that money on an upright. It's so hard to even get rid of them anymore.
Yeah, they're
People are like, but I spent thousands of dollars on this and now no one wants it.
yeah.
And that seems to be the case, unfortunately.
There is a collector's market for it. It's just a small market.
Right.
It's very niche.
It's not like it used to be where a lot of homes had those and that was the entertainment.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, even if you had TV and radio, that was still the
Sure.
entertainment.
One of the family
you know?
members could play.
Right. And y'all
and
sat around and sang.
Sang and did songs.
Yeah.
And kind of, I always think of the episodes of Everybody Loves Raymond back when, I guess when Rain and his brother were kids. Mom was a teacher, and I think she taught, I don't know if she taught music or,
Mhm.
but she was the pianist. So it was an episode where she was, Ray's kids were learning piano and didn't want to do it and quit.
Oh,
So Ray picked up piano from Mom again, but it was very much like you're saying, go back to the blue book, go back to the
Right,
red book.
right,
You gotta,
yeah.
and all that learning.
You
so
know,
that's
I
how it
can't
was.
tell you how many adults have said to me, I hated practicing. My mother made me do it. Finally, I could quit, and I'm so sad they let me quit.
Exactly.
I have never heard anyone say, gosh, I was glad I never had to finish that or
Yeah.
learn that. So,
That's a regret. I wish I picked up an instrument and as a younger person,
Mhm.
because I just part of it is I don't have that talent. Like that's
right.
That's where I can't like I would love to learn to play guitar, but it just my brain does not.
I don't get the whole I play by ear.
Yeah, my brain does
What?
not work that way. I don't have that kind of brain.
That's like,
so.
whoa, how do you know where that is if
Yeah.
you don't know? I
mean, my brain's good at remembering useless crap and doing stuff like this.
I was going to say that's why you're good at what you do.
But when it comes musically, it's not my forte. I don't
Mhm.
have the and I got a little rhythm. Like I'm not like completely out of rhythm. Like if someone starts clapping hands, I can clap along and not be the guy that's messing everything up.
Just clapping on 1 and 3.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm not exactly musical, so, and I kind of regret that. I wish as a kid I kind of paid more attention and got more into that
Mhm.
kind of thing.
Well, if you didn't see the Roswell paper, they did a great article on the concert coming up. And, on our postcard and on all the advertisement, you can't really see Scott's face. This is nice. She used a black and white shot of him full on. You can see his face, and he has the guitar out towards you.
Yeah,
So-
this one's the back.
Yeah.
I could
And-
even go a little Elvis if you didn't see all
right,
the Johnny
and he
Cash.
has
and
played
everything on
that
it.
before
Yeah.
too. So yeah, they did a great article. Scott was really thrilled. He put it on Facebook and he said, "Coming to Roswell," and did this whole thing. I've been trying to bounce around his thing because it comes from the artist that he was so happy with the
Yeah.
article that was written. But there is a 2:00 and a 6:00. There's
Yes.
been a question. It's hard when you get on the website. If you go to the website and go to RoswellTheaterRE.com, you
Mhm.
can get your tickets there.
Yeah.
You don't have to call this number. You can go there.
You can if you wish, if you rather
you
do the
right,
phone.
if you
but
wanna call,
but if
you
you
can
don't like
call.
dealing with people, which a lot
But
of
when
us
you
don't.
go there, number one, it will say February 3rd, 2:00. You need to hit it if you want to come to the 6:00,
gotta
and
drop
it will
down.
drop down.
Gotcha.
Hit the 6:00. But if you
It
want to come to the
defaults to 2.
it defaults to the 2. Great way of saying it. When you do, you go through all the rigmarole, you fill everything out, and you hit purchase tickets. You are going to wait about 2 to 3 minutes while it thinks.
Okay.
That long. And so don't re-hit it. Don't refresh.
We don't want to get you charged twice or any of that stuff.
Yes,
yeah.
we had a gentleman that called me yesterday that bought 16 tickets, which I would be thrilled with. But he was like, I only wanted 4, right? So make sure, and then we were
Sir,
able to help him out the back way.
You need to find 8 friends, sir.
Find 8 people. Sorry, I can't help you.
That's right.
No refunds. So just so you know, that is a little glitch. We know it is.
Yeah.
We can't fix it at this point. If we do fix it, then we lose all the reservations. It will be fixed. So please just have patience
is
this
a virtue
time.
on this one.
And that'll be the same thing. If you do call this number, that's still that wait time. So since the number is me,
right.
I'll tell you what I've been doing.
Because she's in essence going to the computer and doing it for you while you call in.
So I will, what I ask you is if you call on a cell phone, I will say I will screenshot it and send it to you. And I will give you'll have your seats on it and all your information. And everyone's been really great with that because I said, or you can sit on the line with me for 2 to 5 minutes and we can get to know each other.
Sure.
No one's taken me up on that one. I
might quit now just to do it. Now let's chit chat.
Okay. But so and then I'll send it to you in a text. So before you even walk in the door, you will know. I mean, you'll know anyway because I tell you.
Sure.
But I put it in writing and you can see it that these are your seats. You will go to the will call window. You need to check in.
Yeah.
That's all you're going to do is check in.
You walk in, you give them your name, they give you tickets, you walk right in.
And if you want to walk in, I've had several people go, well, can we get tickets that day? Well,
if they're not sold out.
Right, exactly. Several concerts have been super close to being sold out. So if you want to take that chance, that's fine. Or if you want to pay in cash, or that's fine.
To guarantee the VIP, I'd go ahead and do the advance.
Yes.
It's only like 4 days away, so it's not like it's that far in advance here. You kind of know at this point what you got going on.
And I should have trusted Alethea because the phone started ringing on Sunday and hasn't stopped. I live in Artesia, as you know, but your listeners might not. And I work here, and of course I do shows here. And I have 45-minute drive home, or 47 to be precise. And the phone rang 7 times.
I know that drive very
well.
And
I was like, oh, well, so when I got home, then I had to, do my thing. So if you don't get anyone that picks up, please leave a message.
They will get back to you.
I do have a full-time job.
Yes.
And I am on the road part of the time. But you will get a call from me. I will answer all your questions. You can come down and buy your tickets. You can wait till that day. Give me a credit card. There's all kinds of ways we can do it.
If you want to go to the show, we'll make it happen.
Yes,
one way or another.
Absolutely. And again, it's this Saturday, the 3rd, and there's a 2 o'clock and a 6 o'clock. Now, for the first time, the 2 o'clock is way closer to being sold out.
Okay, so that one's filling faster than the evening show.
And I usually do at 2 o'clock because, of course, I have friends in Artesia that want to come, and it's way easier to see the 2. They usually eat dinner in Roswell, so getting you some of that hospitality money.
They'll either have lunch or dinner in Roswell.
Right. And then they're home before it's too dark.
Yeah.
Which I totally understand and I wish I could do. But I have to stay for the 6 o'clock
Don't have that luxury. No.
And again, the money will be going towards the Little Theater for their roof. And then when they get that paid off for the lobby. And my portion of the money is going to be going to LM Swearingen. And it's, what did we say before? Liana? Liana?
The Swearingen family.
Yes, the Swearingen family. Once we pay our bills, anything left over will be going to that family. If you want to know more about that family, you can also give me a call at 575-513-8119. I now have all kinds of things.
Are the family going to be at both shows or the day
No,
show?
they're just coming to the 2 o'clock.
Okay, so if you'd like to meet the family.
And Oliver will be there as well.
Get your tickets for the 2 o'clock and you can meet and maybe give them money direct if you like. That would be a good thing.
I will have a donation jar. I will have flyers about her book, GoFundMe, and the website.
Good deal.
So that I'll just get the word out, for them. And like I said, they do have an account set up at First American Bank, and it can be any branch. It does not have to be in Artesia.
Okay. So you hit the ones here, and they'll be covered.
You hit the ones here and give their name, and you can do a donation that way.
Awesome.
You can go on GoFundMe. You can buy her book and get a kickback. You can come to the concert. So we'll have a donation jar. I actually got one of my in my office, one of the attorneys. I said, "Hey, did you see the article?" He's like, "No," and I told him about it, and he's like, "Well, what's about this cancer person?" So I told him, and he was like, "So if I just give you money now, is that good?" So I've already started.
I won't say no.
Yeah, you're right, exactly. So we've already started the fund.
Good. And I love, and that's the wonderful thing I love about this community. When those kind of scenarios happen, the community rallies, and so it's time to rally for this family here, and that's a good thing. And I guarantee you're going to have an amazing time.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, we cannot see Johnny Cash live anymore.
Right.
He's no longer with us.
This is pretty close.
Is about the closest thing you're going to get to seeing Johnny Cash live that you're going to be able to do from this point going forward. And like you said, this man is kind of the encompassing of it. He eats, breathes, sleeps when he's doing that performance. He is not him. He's Johnny Cash.
And remember, he's developing a Neil Diamond show.
I'm very curious to see what Neil Diamond's like.
So if we can get that sound system upgraded, we can have the band and Neil and all that to come out.
Maybe he can get schizophrenic and then run in 1 minute, be Neil Diamond, then next Elvis, then next Johnny Cash, and whatever other guys he can do too.
And this has nothing to do with the concert, but just so I get it in for my Altrusians here in Roswell.
Yes.
They are doing Denim and Diamonds.
Yes, that's an annual event. Yeah.
On Friday, February 23rd. Tickets are $100.
That's usually out at the
it's a convention center.
The convention center. That's right. And they're doing dancing and great food.
And I heard someone talking about, they're like, do we really wear our boots and our diamonds? And they're like, well, yeah, that's why the theme is.
I mean, they're not going to kick you out if you don't, but
right.
You're more than welcome to.
Yes, that's kind of the idea.
It's not tuxedos and formal dresses. No. It's sawdust and bling.
So yeah, and Altrusa, if you don't know, started as business women. So it was like, if I sold insurance, another insurance agent that was a female could not be in it. And then it's morphed now into, we are a civic group.
Yeah.
That is for the whole community with emphasis on literacy.
A lot of times you partner with other civic groups to help them achieve their goals too.
And just like Kiwanis has a park, Altrusa has a park as well.
Yeah.
So they are doing that. I know they collect books for literacy. And I am not part of the Roswell Altrusians. I am part of Artesia, but who I work for is, and I know all those ladies as well. Same. So yeah, and we all get together. We have a district conference and get to know each other, share ideas.
And the only reason you're probably in the Artesia ones because that's where you live. And
that's why I started before I drove here every day.
So it's just one of those things. I always know, and again, this is because I did the radio show for 8 years. Altrusa in Eddy County or Artesia. They are champion. They do their knives. That's kind of their known
Rata.
for. Does the Roswell group have something like that or something similar?
Well, they may have something similar, but what's funny is I carpool with someone, and they went to someone in their office who's an Altrusian and said, "Hey, I want to buy some knives for Christmas," and she had no idea what they were talking about. And she came to me and she was like, "Isn't that an Altrusa thing?" I'm like, "Well, it is in Eddy County, in Artesia."
Yeah.
She was like, "Oh," I said, "Yeah, we all do something a little different. We do in Artesia, if you're around, on the 18th, Sunday the 18th, our smorgasbord is now an enchilada plate.
Yeah.
It's $10. We will be at West Main Church, and it is drive-through or pickup only.
Yeah.
And so if you do not have to have pre-purchase tickets, but it would be nice just so we can get a good idea.
Well, you got to know how many enchiladas to have on hand.
Right. So if you're going out for the day and you're going to end up in Artesia anyway, you can swing by and then maybe go to a park or wherever you're heading to a friend's house and have an enchilada plate. So that's another
in the park with your
Altrusa thing to do. But here is Denim and Diamonds, February 23rd. That's a Friday at the Civic Center. And you can buy tickets from any Altrusian here in Roswell.
Absolutely. So get your tickets. I think if you look up Altrusa Roswell online, you can find their group and you can contact someone.
They have a Facebook page as well.
So if you don't know an Altrusan, get on there and they'll come to you.
Judy Stubbs.
Yes.
Bonnie, I don't remember her last name.
Janine Best, I think, is involved. I'm not sure she's Altrusan, but I know she's involved with Denim and Diamonds.
And Shelly Olson, Kate. Those are the names that I know of the Altrusians here in town. So get a hold of any of them, and they will gladly sell you a ticket.
Absolutely. So come and get your dance on, you eat on, and raise some money.
Get your dance on. And we are not going. Let's not forget Kiwanians. We are going to do a big celebration for the park. It's now scheduled for March at the Civic Center, and it's a dance, dinner, and dessert event.
Nice.
And it's kind of going to be a Morphe thing with civic luncheon. So it's not going to be a luncheon. It's going to be a dinner, but we're going to recognize others. And then we're going to go, woo, woo, look what we did. And we're over 102 years old now.
Nice.
So
I'm just throwing this out there. Don't have to take this idea, but just throw it out there.
Mm-hmm.
possible Kiwanian thing in the future. Because they're known for a couple things.
Yes.
So let's combine them. Pancakes in the park. And get out to the all-inclusive park and just hand out pancakes.
Yeah. If we can find a 220 plug, we should be able to do that.
Yeah, it might be some logistics here, but I'm thinking pancakes in the park.
Yeah, that's a clever name. Pancakes in the park. I'll bring that up.
Yeah, I think we could do that. And then we get Nybert out there making his Mickey Mouse pancakes.
I was going to say that, and I thought, well, I better not. He's up in session. I better not throw him under the bus.
But he's officially the Mickey Mouse pancake guy. So.
He's our president next year. So
awesome.
We'll see how that goes.
Well, good. Then he'll be free. But all kidding aside, come out this Saturday, 2 o'clock or 6 p.m. Enjoy the intimate portrait of Johnny Cash.
Yes.
It is a man doing Johnny Cash. Does he kind of cover different decades of Johnny?
Yeah.
So like early Johnny to later Johnny.
And he mentions that in the article, or Chris does, that it is about all different times of his life. And because of that, that is why Scott stays in that character the whole time, and you can see the growth of Johnny Cash and the music.
Well, and people are going to be more drawn to certain, but depending on how old they are, and they kind of, younger folks are probably going to be more into the older Johnny stuff,
right?
The 9 Inch Nails and that kind of stuff. Whereas a little bit seasoned people like myself will look more some of the classic or what we call traditional Johnny.
Right. So you can give me a call, 575-513-8119. If I don't pick up, please leave me a message. I'll get back with you as soon as I can. Or you can go to www.roswelltheater, theater spelled with an RE.com, and you can do everything online there. Just please remember, once you hit purchase tickets, just wait for it.
Yep. And if you do have issues,
then give me a call. We'll work
Lori
it out.
And she'll navigate you through it. And while you're there, don't forget, they've got a bunch of other great shows and stuff coming up that the Communal Theater's putting on.
180 days.
Yeah, around the world in 80 days.
Around the world in 80 days.
I knew what you meant.
Oops. Sorry, Alethea.
But yeah, that's next up. And then, of course, when you do go to the website, the bishop pops up first thing and asking for an email if you'd like. And if you do that, then anytime there's a new event or new show or new thing through the Communal Theater, you'll get notified first through your email. So if you want to stay plugged into all the events, go ahead and tell the bishop your email, and then you can order your tickets.
And
for this
once
weekend.
you buy tickets, once you've gone once, you're kind of signed up for that too.
Sure, absolutely.
Because if you call, I clicked the little button. Yes, they want to receive it. I don't ask you.
That's right. Well,
no, you never know. You might miss out on something if
she's
you don't
a marketer by heart. That's what she does. Very good. Well, as always, appreciate the visit, and we'll see you next time here.
Okay.
And we'll see you this weekend. Come on out. It's going to be a fun weekend. 2 o'clock, 6 o'clock, two, both same shows, 2 different times. Go to one, go to both. If you want the matinee, it is selling out faster than the nighttime. So you might, if you're trying to, I'll just get tickets on day of. I'd hate for you to get turned away at 2 o'clock because it could happen. So,
or you might have to sit in like a regular chair,
Yeah.
not a theater chair.
That's right. Maybe we'll put you next to Johnny.
Yeah, we'll put you on stage.
You can hold his water.
That's in his rider. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, thank you, Lori. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Mike. It's been fun.
All right, it is 9:58. Quick news update before they kick me off the radio. Don't go away.
Now for your Pecos Valley News update, I'm Jared Cirillo. There are new details in a shooting incident we reported last week at Carlsbad Medical Center. Police now say they're looking for the girlfriend of the man they said shot someone in the hospital's parking lot. 30-year-old Angelina Guevara is listed as wanted. She is charged with 5 felony crimes, including being an accessory to aggravated battery. Ruben Lugo Jr. is the man police say shot and wounded the victim after an argument that started in the 2400 block of West Pierce Street. Lugo is also not in custody, so if you have any information, call Carlsbad Police. A proposal to reintroduce jaguars to New Mexico has been rejected by the federal government. A conservation group called the Center for Biological Diversity submitted a petition about a year ago arguing that the forest in southwest New Mexico was ideal for the species recovery. That's the Gila National Forest. Jaguars were listed as endangered in the 1970s, and the petition called on the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to revise the listing's critical habitat designation to include the forest in New Mexico and the Chihuahua Mountains in southern Arizona, where North America's only known jaguar lives. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We have a long stretch of pretty nice conditions coming up over the next few days. Our next system may bring us a few showers by Friday, but pretty fair in between now and then. Mid-60s on our high today, and we get sunshine. Upper 30s and a few clouds drifting through for the overnight hours. We're looking at upper 60s for the high on Wednesday, low 70s Thursday, and sunny. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Your home for Armed American Radio is 106.5 FM, KEND Roswell.
The House Homeland Security Committee has voted 18 to